Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports JEDI Network channel. May the sports be with you. Because I am the hero the Sports JEDI deserves, but not the one it needs right now. Long live Lexus King.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Hill of the Ring podcast on the Sports JEDI Network, YouTube, Rumba, Twitch, on X, and all our different platforms. It is Saturday. We're here to talk some wrestling, the week in review. But first, we get all that good events and all the week happening. I want to say hello to my partner, my co-host, the one and only PG Chris TV. What's going on, Chris?
What is up, brother? What is up? Yeah, we're here again. I know we did this on Monday because of Memorial Day, so it kind of seems like, we're back at it a little soon here. But, all the wrestling's done for the week, so we're here to talk about it. A lot of interesting news also coming from the week, not just wrestling. Free agents, people that are coming free agents, lack of opportunity. There's a lot of other things that have been going on this week besides wrestling, so I'm excited to talk to you guys about it.
Yeah, where would you like to start? Do you want to go with the wrestling events, or do you want to talk about the news? Let's let our hair loose a little bit.
I want to talk about the Mariah May situation.
Go for it. The floor's yours.
I'm seeing a lot of people on X, whether it's the sickos, she betrayed AEW, blah, blah, or if it's the WWE marks, Mariah May, she's here. First off, I have about 4 or 5 screenshots of you people specifically. I've seen months ago, Mariah May sucks. She's a Temu insert wrestler here. She's not good. And then those same people yesterday, in the last 2 days, Mariah May is going to be a fucking superstar. Tony Khan fumbled. Welcome to the big leagues. So I think it's really weird. And when any wrestler gets from AEW to WWE, vice versa, it's always this thing where it's, the people like I just mentioned, where it's the WWE fans who hate AEW and they can't stand AEW, but once one of their talent goes to WWE, it's, oh my God, she's a fucking star. Tony Khan fumble. First off, you probably never heard of her until now, recently. You probably never seen any of her work in AEW. So a lot of you fans are really two-sided. It's really hypocritical, in my opinion. I'm going to support Mariah May wherever she goes. I don't think the Tony fumbled is stupid. You all say it with Ricky Starks. You all say it with Lexus King. What those guys wanted, it's what those guys wanted to do. I understand. Again, now Ricky Starks, we don't know what was going on with him, so I can put him in a different category. But when it comes to like Mariah May, Jade Cargill, Ethan Page, which he didn't do much, but you get my point, right? Especially with Jade and Mariah, Tony fumbled. Jade didn't have her first loss until she left. Mariah May just had the championship, and she was a part of the best feud in AEW this year, or last year. Please tell me how Tony's fumbling her, because she doesn't want to resign and she wants to live her dream and go to WWE. That's Tony Khan fumbling. Look, she might be one of those women that she does not care about the money, like Stephanie Vaquer. I mean, this is her dream. You got to let her live her dream. I can't be mad about that. You AEW sickos can't be mad about that. She's not betraying anybody. She is simply living out her dream. And she's really young. She's going to thrive just like she's been thriving in NXT, or in AEW. And again, with the WWE fans, the ones that are, fuck you because you're in AEW, but welcome to the big league because you're here now. You're a hypocrite. You're a straight up hypocrite. Now you're going to go on social media. Oh, she's a superstar, this and that. You've never seen her work previously. And when you do see her work in WWE, and you might not be a fan, this girl sucks. This girl's this and that. You've only seen her for 2 minutes. It's really weird. And again, I'm not just calling out the W. It's a lot of the people in the IWC. But we need to all support these wrestlers because it's at the end of the day, it's a little crazy for me that the fans are Team AEW, this and that, this and that. The talent support each other. AEW and WWE, the talent support each other. They're all friends. They all want. You know how many people from WWE were congratulating Darby Allin on his Mount Everest? You know how many people were like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these wrestlers don't have a problem with each other. It's the internet. It's the internet. So we need to just, I'm gonna support Mariah May in AEW or WWE, just like I did in AEW. She did phenomenal things for the company. You don't see anybody throwing shade at anybody. So I think this is a good mutual departure for her to start her dream. It's that simple to me, Kev. It's that simple. I wanted to start off with that because it's really weird how your opinion of somebody, a wrestler, could change just strictly based off what company they're joining. I hate that shit. I hate it.
All right, here's what I'm gonna go with this. Two things. Mariah May got herself her teeth cut with All Elite Wrestling. Maybe at the people have their right to reserve to change their mind. I'm not gonna rebuttal that or say because they're in a certain company they need to change their mindset or they're just because of the call letters that they're wrestling for. Maybe they won them over. Maybe her work with the Hollywood Ending, her work in All Elite Wrestling. You in the beginning when she came in, you're like, who's this? And then now her wrestling and won you over as a fan. I'm gonna give that there. But here's what's going on with the wrestling community. It goes from JD from New York all the way down to us or to others. I'm gonna include ourselves. What attracts people to watch us, because at the end of the day, when you're doing a YouTube and you're a content creator, you need views. You need views to be in an island of relevancy. You need people to watch in or tune in to see your video, get retweeted, get recognized, get on a platform, and being positive isn't really cutting the mustard in 2025. I hate to say that. We try it, and we're not going to change who we are. We're the Sports Jedi Network. Yeah, we might be the Heel the Ring podcast, but we want to be positive. That's why we do our spotlight with all the independent wrestlers from the Latino, Latinas, and want to hear their story. We want to be positive. We don't want to be bringing controversy, negativity, drama, scuttlebutt, bochinche, whatever you want to have many names. But when it comes to other content creators, and God bless them, they're making money, they're making killing. Maybe that's something that we, hurting us. But you know what? We're going to stay true to our morals and our principles. Anyway, this is a hobby. We got our 9-to-5 jobs anyway. We're not counting on this to pay our mortgage, to keep the lights on. We're doing this for fun because we love this art that's called professional wrestling. But the guys like a JD, it's all negativity. Everything he has to say has to be a negative. He doesn't care. He's blaspheming, cursing up a storm. This sucks. This thing blows. This stinks. This was garbage. This person sucks. And it's not just him. It's all across the old content creator world. And if you're negative and you're always crapping on and you're always prowling on negativity or terrible or just tearing wrestlers down, people for some reason gravitate to tend to watch, either to hate watch or to clip and say, you see what he said? Let's attack. Let's get that linchpin mob mentality to attack that person. I think that's what generates and moves the IWC and the internet community. And it's a shame because what like you said, what's being not spotlighted or emphasis is for a woman living up her dream. Her dream as a young lady in England wants to go wrestle for the World Wrestling Entertainment Company. Being part of being part with the founders of Degeneration X, like a Paul Levesque, Michael Hickenbaum, aka Shawn Michaels. Wow, I'm gonna be that's gonna be my boss. I dream of watching them, or vice versa. There's there could be someone. You know what? I'm not being utilized in the World Wrestling Entertainment like a Karrion Kross. Man, I could really use a push, a TV time, and Tony Khan's gonna pay me a lot of money. And I'm not, and I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna get television time. Who are we to crap on it because of a 3 call letter words? Enjoy it. Enjoy the performers when they're out there wrestling and going at it. They're putting their bodies on. We said this time and time again here on the Heel the Ring podcast and the Sports Jedi Network. These performers go out there and put their bodies on the line each and every week. And we're going to talk about some of this mishaps that could have went uber wrong in the square circle. So for Mariah May, if she's leaving her dream in All Elite, going out of All Elite Wrestling to the WWE, she's going in with a resume. Because if she would have went straight from Stardom to NXT, she might have been getting. And I hate to say this, I love you, Valerie Lorena, as an MMA fighter, but she would have got the Lola Vice treatment. You know what I mean? The Lola Vice treatment. She would have signed in from Stardom with no really fan reaction. But Care would have came in, Julia would have came in, and you would have got pushed to the next level down, the next tier. Sorry, Lola, I'm sorry, but when those ladies came in and they pushed you to the little bit behind, they dropped you down a level. Remember, I always say it time and time again. When they did that WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, they flew you out there and they made you a poster child, like making you think they were going to put a rocket ship as a Latina representation for the WWE. And then here comes Vicure, here comes the others, and they kind of put you on the back burner. I think Mariah May would have got stuck in the back burner if she would have came from Stardom into the WWE. So she went and reinvented herself. Where now, if Mariah May comes in and say, I'm going to Raw or SmackDown, ain't nobody in the world going to say, not really, you should go to NXT. If she would have came from Stardom, now you need to go to NXT because we got to see who you are, Chris. That's my opinion. That's my hot take.
No, well said, brother. Well said. You know, I think it's when you see a lot of people that come from Stardom too, like a Julia. I'm not saying she's not well known, but like a lot of the people like that come from Stardom, even with AEW, we see it with that Spider chick, and we'll talk about how bad her debut was later on in the show. But that was probably the worst debut I've ever seen on AEW TV. But you know what I'm saying? Like people need to people in America, well, they want to be seasoned to you in American TV. Not everybody watches the Stardom. Not everybody, you know, shout out to our good friend Metz because he informs us. You know, he watches that shit. So like if we need to ask questions about it, you know, we know somebody who watches it. So shout out to Metz if you're in the chat. Appreciate, you know, giving us information about the Japanese wrestling, but we don't know about that. So when somebody like Mariah May comes to an American promotion, whether I'm going to say a big American promotion like AEW, people are used to seeing her on American TV. She's seasoned. People know what to expect, not to expect. When you come straight from Stardom, there could be a lot. Even when you go to the WWE, there is still a lot of people like, who are you? Who's she? That's why they go to NXT to get build up with the fans in the PC, and then when they travel. So it was important for Mariah May get to All Elite Wrestling, build your name, get your money, have a great career in AEW, which she has. Use that, live your dream, no problem with that. Again, you don't hear her talking any shade about Tony or AEW, and you don't hear AEW or Tony talking about any shade on her. So if they're mutual about it, we should too.
Yeah, the only shade I saw her complaining about her accommodations of
accommodations, which everybody in AEW, which a lot of people in All Elite Wrestling have complained about it, but again,
I don't blame Tony Khan because I don't think Tony Khan is a person who's gonna be micromanaging about people's accommodations. That man who's a billionaire who runs not just one but 3 different sports organizations with football, soccer, American football, and as well as a professional wrestling company. They delegate. They delegate people for those assignments to take care of that travel, accommodation. So you can't get mad at Tony Khan with that and say he fumbled that or made them feel uncomfortable. You have to see the people that are underneath him who are responsible for those things. From a CM Punk not getting a Uber, not getting a limo to take him to the arena in London, who had to take the tube, aka the subway there. That's not Tony Khan's fault. That's people underneath who are delegated for those travels and secretaries. Look, he hires a lot of people doing those delegates.
I'm pretty sure the person that is in charge of that is, I think it's Matt Jackson's wife that's in charge of all that shit.
She retired. She left.
She retired? Oh, okay. Then I don't.
At the time with CM Punk, it was her. But lately, she left. She took the backlash. She raised her hand and say, "I'm out." You know, but still, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's not Tony Khan's, Chris. At the end of the day,
I agree, 100%.
Figure out Khan.
Yes,
you can't blame him.
That's what they're gonna do, Kev. And again, Tony's not perfect at all, especially when it comes to creative. But again, there are other people that Tony puts responsible for all these other things. So again, this guy you see on the screen, you guys can give him all the blame because. As he should, right? He's the owner. He's the guy in charge. So if you need, I understand that, but again,
it's not his fault.
It's not his fault. Mariah May, and I know we like to clown Tony, especially Kev, but it's not his fault here. Again, he didn't make Mariah May look bad. Mariah May didn't. Besides that one, they didn't. She's not going on a rant. So if they're fine about it, if they seem cordial about it, I think us as fans should too, and just support her wherever she goes, which is what we're gonna do.
Speaking about exiting All Elite Wrestling, Abaddon contract comes to a complete end. They will not resign. Abaddon will be leaving the company. Hey, that's a mutual. She's not being on television. Let's face it, Abaddon is only a person, really be honest with you, with the makeup and all. She's only good for the fall into the winter time. I'm gonna be honest with you, because the Halloween season, the scary look. Right now, especially All Elite Wrestling, they don't do storylines, don't do that type of deal. There's only a shelf life for an Abaddon with the spooky supernatural. They don't do sports entertainment. You know what?
She'll kill it in the indies. She'll kill it in the indies.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Heather, I'm going to give Heather Wright a great TNA would be a great opportunity for her to join with Rosemary. Perfect opportunity because they.
Oh yeah,
I gotta give Heather Wright.
No. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I like that. Her and Rosemary. Yeah, if you want to, we talk about it too, and we'll talk about it again later. But we talk about how that knockout tag team division really isn't anything because they just hot potato the titles between Spitfire and Ash by Elegance. If you want another knockouts title, her and Abaddon, spooky shit. Fuck it, do it.
Well, we'll see where that goes.
But if she doesn't do that, she will be fine on the independent scene. There's a bunch of independent companies that will use her for like the horror seasons, for all that. Yeah, she'll be fine. I think if anything, I think the independent scene will be better for her than being in AEW.
I definitely agree with that for Abaddon. Hopefully, wish her the best of luck. Get her calendar full of a lot of appearances and dates all across the indies, and make a lot of money on the independents and kill it for Abaddon. We definitely wish her the best. Let's go right into Monday Night Raw. We're not going to go through every little details. We got some men's qualifying matches for Monday Night Raw, which to me was a real good one when Penta, Dragon Lee, and Chad Gable. That was a hell of a triple threat for the qualifier there. Those guys, no matter what, it's great to see Dragon Lee in the ring, getting some TV time, some wrestling time, and of course, Penta qualifies. Cero Miedo qualifies. I think the right guy qualified there, Chris. Yeah,
nothing much to add on that. I agree.
Yeah, let's absolutely. Now, I know I'm burying the lead because we know that Rollins, Heyman, and company kicked off with Brunson Reed. They talked a little bit there. We're going to find out. Let's see how that evolves and how that breathes. I think there's going to be much more storyline to it. So we're not going to rehash it or talk too much about it because there's going to be more levels or layers to add to them. When it comes to Paul Heyman's alliance, let's call it that with the Architect Alliance. Let's call it the Architect Alliance. Let's combine them there. The Architect Alliance. I think there's going to be more layers to that. We're going to see how that evolves weeks to week. So I'm not going to put too much emphasis on because we've got a lot of wrestling to cover. We heard a little bit of a mission statement. We know CM Punk is on their grass hairs. We'll find out with OTC when Roman comes back. I think that's when that story wraps up, when he decides to coming back from his other many vacations. So we'll see, where that goes from there. Liv Morgan, speaking of return, Liv Morgan returns. Now, Liv Morgan returns and sees a Dominic Mysterio eating Roxanne's nuggets. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't mind it if this is something for Roxanne to get on the storyline for WWE TV. She's new to the roster. They threw her into a storyline right away. Maybe this leads with her and Liv Morgan down the line. Maybe this leads to Roxanne taking her spot, like another type of like Rhea Ripley Liv situation. I don't know what the purpose of Roxanne doing her Judgment Day, but hey, they could do something with it with Liv and Roxanne. Why not? Or they could have even Roxanne join, have them kind of like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Then she gets used to the group and she can even tag along with Raquel and Liv as like a third man or trios. Not that, I know we don't want, but like if she could be a part of that group for somehow. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with this one. I'll be honest.
You said trios and Soraya's got just joined the chat.
Soraya had her pen ready on the contract to sign once I heard the word trio.
Hey, she's the queen of trios. Ask Xavier Woods about that one. as we move on here, listen, I think to me, I wouldn't be surprised if Raquel Rodriguez turns on Liv Morgan and sides with Roxanne Perez. I don't know.
You know what? That would actually be good for Raquel, huh? Instead of just her being back there and like her, she's like a sidekick.
She's a chimosa, and no one likes a chimosa.
She needs to be the main character for some things, bro. Like, this could be good. I don't know, but Roxanne, are we putting Dom in another love triangle? Got a
Shawn Michaels Diesel there with Are
we gonna put Dom in another love triangle?
Could be too. It could be there. I don't know. Personally, the one that should have been in that love triangle should have been Bailey, but that's just me. But we'll move. That should have been me. The Bailey's in the love triangle, whichever way you want to go with. But it's just me. But we'll move on with this one. There, we have a tag team match. It was a triple threat. The New Day, the defending world champions, the War Raiders, and the Creed brothers. Really good, hard hitting triple threat match. Back and forth. Always good to see the Creed brothers and Ivar. It got the crowd a little slow, but they got into it as steam picked up. Still defending the world champion are your New Day. They retain with Xavier rolling up Eric and with the tights and getting the win to retain the tag team titles. Not much there, but my question is, what's next in the tag team division? Now that kind of those were the main people there, they could really use a shakeup. SmackDown, I think, has a lot of strong tag teams, and they got too many. Like we could put the gun.
It feels like all the tag teams are on SmackDown.
Yeah,
because when you watched last night and you saw that, and again, I don't want to get ahead because we're still on Monday Night Raw. But when you look at last night's SmackDown and you see like the Profits, DIY, Machine Guns, Fraxium, like when I saw those guys in the ring last night, I'm literally thinking to myself, where the fuck's all the these are literally all the tag teams on WWE, and they're all in SmackDown. I mean, Monday Night Raw literally has the War Raiders and the New Day.
Pretty much, the Creed brothers.
I'm in the Creed. Okay, in the Creed brothers, they're all right. But my thing, like, when Fraxium or when with the Nemets on TNA beating the Hardys, I would think we would see them on main roster TV soon.
Let's hope.
That's what kind of I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday, Kev, I was expecting it. I had a part so I didn't watch the show live. I watched it this morning, so I was able to skip through all the fucking commercials. But I was sitting there thinking, like, is the Hardy's gonna come? But so I think for what's next for the Raw tag team division, you gotta have another tag team. You gotta have another tag team go in there and shake things up. Because the New Day right now, they're good, and I like their heel stuff. They're not doing much, Kev, but coming out on commercials. And we can see it because we had the VPN, but we had not the international feed. We had the international feed. I meant, but you know what I'm saying though. Like they don't. You can see the difference of the way that how Monday Night Raw does not give a shit about their tag team division, but SmackDown does, and we see it even with the matches, not just the tag teams. Look how good of a ladder match the Street Profits had on SmackDown just a few weeks ago. We haven't seen a tag team match like that on Raw in God knows how long, Kev. So I don't know what's next for this tag team division on Raw. Unless they shake up some superstars over there or they add a big I don't know.
No, I can see what you mean. When it comes to the tag team division in Monday Night Raw, they could use a shake up, some switching back and forth. I think the Motor City Machine Guns on Monday Night Raw will kill it. I've said it.
I think Fraxium going back and forth were killing it because they're still new to the main roster, and I think they could wet their toes in both brands if they really want to. That could be the only tag team I've seen. I think Motor City Machine Guns they've been on SmackDown since their debut. I think they're fine there. I think Street Profits, they're fine there. I would like to see again Fraxium's the newer tag team out of all of them. Why not have them go and do multiple shows on Raw, on SmackDown? Because let's be honest, they've done everything they could in NXT, and we're seeing it now with them, right? So I don't know what's next for the tag team division on Raw, but they need a shake up.
And when you speak about Fraxium, I've seen them in the ring with the Creed Bros. They have chemistry. They've been there, watched that in NXT 2.0 before they were getting the Fraxium push. Before the Creed exited to the main roster, they have chemistry. They could work well. I would like to see that. Look, the Creed brothers are very underrated tag team. I don't know if it's because they're not cutting promos. I think what killed Brutus Creed was that stupid, goofy laugh. I don't know what agent, what booker, what person told him to bring that hyena laugh. He did not do that in NXT 2.0. I didn't know if they're trying to expand his character. It's not working. I wouldn't mind them. If they're going to stay on the Gable, if they're going to move away from Gable, they might have to revamp the Diamond Mine. Diamond Mine was very, very good in NXT. Maybe you don't have Roderick Strong. That's fine. You don't have Michael Bivin, who's known as Stokely Hathaway. That's okay. But you have Ivy now. You have Ivy now there. You know what? You could revamp a little bit of the Diamond Mine to some type of and they need some personality, because those two guys are talented in-ring performers. Julius and Brutus, they both could go in the ring. Something not there with their personality or where they're on the mic. They could really use a mouthpiece, and that's just why I've been a big advocate. WWE needs to make managers from Evolve to NXT to main roster. They need the art of the manager. Oh, but they got to know how to cut a promo. That's okay. They will. But they still need that person who could speak on the microphone, who could command the room with their speak. And wait a minute, a guy like a JBL will be a hell of an asset there to help them elevate, to get them to another level on the microphone with the Creed brothers. Go and destroy. Learn from a JBL. Pick the brain. That will build. I know Chad Gable's got his plate full. He's trying to get himself over when he's really not that over. He is over to us fans, but in the eyes all around, he's not that over yet. With the Grande Americano, with the Creed, they could use a JBL. Chris, give me 1 second. I'll have to step out for 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
No, I agree with. Let me touch of what Kev was saying on that, because I agree with him 100%. Right, when it comes to the Creed brothers, they're really, really good. And I thought Ivy Nile, her involvement in this whole, Creed brothers thing, I thought I thought she was going to be the one to be the talker. Like Kev just said, her to be the manager, her to be the talker. They haven't really found anything with her yet as well. And she puts on good matches. She had a good match a couple of weeks ago. I'm not saying that, but Chad Gable kind of does have his plate full. He's a whole other character. He's trying to portray Chad Gable not being El Gran Americano, and it's a lot of things going on with him. So I don't think him being the talker of that group would help. I think, again, they've gotten rid. The manager role in WWE is dead if you're not Paul Heyman. That's how I see it. Because when you looked at some of these wrestlers, look at Andrade. Do you guys remember Andrade when he came into the WWE? He didn't have to say a single word. And Zelina did all the talking, and it got him over. The same thing with Rusev. When Rusev came to the WWE, Lana got his ass over. So I just gave you two examples right there. Kev, I don't know if you heard this, but I think the managing position's dead. If it's not Paul Heyman. If your name's not Paul Heyman, you're not the manager position's dead. And I thought Ivy would be that. She's not. She's having good matches still. Chad Gable has his hand plates. Look, I know we let's be real for 1 second. We know El Grande Americano is Chad Gable. He is doing so much with the AAA Mexico, trying to convince fans, at least the ones that aren't that bright, that he's not El Grande Americano. He can't be that. But Kev, when you first saw the Creed brothers out there and you saw Gable, that was good though, because Gable was talking. Because Gable just got done being a heel from the Otis stuff, and everybody still hated him because of Otis. So,
I'm a fan of them.
I know.
I'm a fan.
You got to see him in NXT all the time when you got to go to the Performance Center, and I like him too. I think they're really good wrestlers. But again, the reality is, and again, Sandman. I watched Sandman's Dark Side of the Ring last night just because I was really bored. You don't need to be. You could be the worst wrestler in the world, and you could be over as shit. You just need somebody there with you. And I think Gable's good. He just has his hands full with a bunch of other stuff. Maybe they could find somebody from somebody. I don't know.
Chris,
You know
legends
what
never
Ariana
die.
Grace is doing in TNA? She could be a manager in WWE as like that annoying liaison heel type of girl. I know you don't think?
Hopefully that's what she's evolving to. She's getting her feet wet and getting into that aspect. We're in an indie TNA NXT realm where when her main roster, she could be a part-time wrestler with a more of a liaison manager. Listen,
Exactly. Yes.
yes, this is what they kind of need in professional wrestling, especially in the WWE. Listen, legends never die. If you go back to the managers of the yesteryear, Bobby the Brain Heenan was an in-ring performer, not the greatest, but he was one of the greatest managers. Mr. Fuji, was a part of with Tanaka was a tag team. They were a dangerous tag team, and then he became a great manager. I don't think the Dustin Style Slick was a manager, but he was great with the microphone. He was talking, he was going good. Lord Harfording, the Grand Wizard. Grand Wizard, who gives me a lot of Grand Wizard vibes? If you're an old school wrestling fan, would understand. Bill Alfonso. You're telling me a Bill Alfonso with that whistle right now, getting the Creed brothers hyped up, wouldn't, even all you had to do, and you didn't even have to, my goodness, will get people, going bananas, going, who's, simple things. At this day, they need managers. They need managers to get people into the ring. I think that's what hurt it, Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. I've said it time and time again. Mr. Stone should have been their manager, causing havoc. And what he's doing on TNA, some people don't like it. Some people think it's all over sports entertainment because TNA doesn't really do uber sports entertainment. They give a little bit of everything. But now they're becoming a little sports entertainment. We'll get to that in a second, in a few minutes. But I think Mr. Robert Stone would have been great for them at that time. They still need the incorporation of managers in professional wrestling because you want to see that heel manager eventually get their shit or their teeth punched in like a Don Callis in AEW. He gets on the microphone, he talks. Why? Because you hear him on commentary, you're like, damn, he's really good on commentary. Look, some of these wrestlers, they don't want to retire. That's fine. We're going to make you take some bumps occasionally, but I need you to help the next generation with their promos, how to become a pro, how to speak, how to rebuttal, be a manager. There's plenty of resources, great guys out there they could use that are on Legends deals. You already have them on Legends deal. Heck, use them as a manager. Use them as managers. Use them to get the next, the promos, the young talent when they're so uber, some of these wrestlers are so uber young, where they're a blank canvas, they're a sponge, ready to learn. Bring in managers who could speak will be a great opportunity for them to help them evolve their next level and take them to a next level. Look, I hope that happens. We'll see. We've been an advocate. I've been saying it now for over a year now. They need more managers in professional wrestling. That's what got me going in. I like that. I like the Jim Cornette. I like the Paul Heyman aspect. I like all that, Chris. That's something that
you have to, because again, not everybody's good on the mic. Not everybody can talk. Not everybody's comfortable. And with a faction that looks with two guys that look that big and badass like the Creeds, I mean, they would be great, man. I just don't know anybody that could do it. I like Robert Stone. I like what he's doing. I think he'd be a great manager. I think he's in a good position though, especially if
I agree.
What the authorities, like, who are these authorities? Like, he's in a good position for him. We saw it with the ECW show when they went to the 203 Arena where he got speared by Rhino, but just him getting on the mic talking about, oh, you guys can't pay this old ass arena can't pay the bills in here, and then like he's really good. He's really good. That's somebody. If I had to pick one to be a manager, it would be him right now. But I think he's going to be a general manager of a show. Like, he would be a better GM than Ava. I'm sorry, but I don't know.
Look, even another one, Chris. I'll give you this one. Remember when I said the manager could be a part-time wrestler at times? A wrestler, not all the time, not a lot of television time, but they could speak on the microphone, and when they talk, they command your attention. You're telling me Ivy Now, Julius Creed, and Brutus Creed with the manager of a Natalia?
She's done it before. You know what? I'm happy you brought her up because when I was talking about it, Natalia. Who do you think? Why do you think Tyson Kidd and British Bulldog's son got over? Davey Boy Smith. as the Hart Foundation in the early 2010s. Why do you think they were over as one of the? It's because Natty was on the mic talking shit, and she was yeah. Oh, dude, Natty. I know what. Fuck, I agree with that. Put her as the manager. Doesn't have to always be a male.
No, and also please don't get this wrong. I'm gonna say this statement. If it's another woman, if a woman's gonna wrestle or gonna be a manager, we don't need them to be there with their tits squished up for us to get our command. We want to respect, at least for me, I want to respect the woman because she could speak and she's going to create havoc. I don't, it helps. Does it help if she's got? Yeah, it does. I'm not going to be lying. We're men at the end of the day, but we don't want to be. That's the emphasis why she's over, because she has a hot body. She got a big pair of tits. No. Nope. I want to hear them speak on the microphone, and I want them to command my respect, what they're going to say, and they're going to bring a group of wrestlers, men or women, they're going to go out there and kick ass and take over a division. That's what I want in a manager. I don't need the eye candy, because if I do that, I could watch Evolve, I could watch NXT, I could watch AEW. There's plenty of eye candy all over professional wrestling. That shit is out the door. Now we want some skill set, storytelling, and promo skills when it comes to the manager. That's what, at least for me, watching wrestling in 2025. I
agree 100%. I agree 100% because that, again, we talked shit about Samantha Irvin in a video. Do you blame her now, though, for wanting to be in a manager role? Because I think she could have done it.
They could have needed it. They could use it. We've been saying that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I don't... it seems like WWE doesn't want that, though. And now they're training Kathy Kelly to be in that position. Apparently, did you hear about that? I guess Kathy Kelly's in the training to. So maybe she fills in that role at some point. But again, when somebody, it's a start. But I just don't know how it's going to go, because when Samantha tells you, "Hey, I want to be a manager," first off, she has a great voice. Second, she's hated online enough. Even when she was in WWE, she was hated a little enough online to get the same heat that Ricochet is getting now in AEW. Which I actually think Ricochet says something in his promo, and we'll talk about it if we do. She's going to AEW do that role in a couple weeks. So
yeah, I can see that.
I think WWE needs that. They need that, and they should take advantage of people like her that want to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. We'll see where that goes. We have a match. First opponent for Liv Morgan will be Kairi Sane. I'm a little bit confused because I thought that would be a Money in the Bank qualifier. No, it was just a match between the two ladies. It was a good one. Kairi Sane picks up the win. Roxanne Perez comes out and causes a distraction with Raquel Rodriguez. And Liv said, "You're the veteran. You should know better not to get involved there." Which that's what to me fed into me thinking Raquel is going to say, "Screw this. I'm going with Güerita," like she calls Roxanne, the other Chiquita, and screw Liv. I'm tired. You're always hogging up the spotlight.
You're always bossing me around. You're always hogging up the spotlight. We come out to your music. Fuck that. No, I agree. I like it. We talked about it earlier. I agree.
We could see that there. So I'd love to see there. We get a stipulation between one another, Becky Hogan, a.k.a. Becky Lynch, and Lyra Valkyria. If Lyra beats her, she can never challenge for that title ever again. So, while she's champion. So the stipulation makes you a little worried. We'll see where that story goes as it evolves weeks to week. I'm going to go a little bit raw. I'm going to go a little bit quickly raw. Gunther confronts main event Jey Uso. We know that match is coming up not this Monday, the next Monday on the 9th in Arizona. Right now, we don't know, Gunther.
Bill Goldberg.
All right, we'll see. We'll see who's next. Literally, no pun intended. What's next for those two? Here's one. Karrion Kross confronts Sami Zayn backstage. This is something that, and I'm going to talk about this. WWE, we all know that the contract is coming or is winding down for Karrion Kross, aka Killer Kross, Kevin. Everyone online wants him to be pushed or given the opportunity for Karrion. Get him in the ring. He does great promos. He's got storytelling that's at least got an internet fan base captivated and interested. If you're the WWE, don't fumble. Don't waste this opportunity. If this man signs with All Elite Wrestling and leaves the company, that's the needle mover that All Elite Wrestling could be getting. And this is me being a WWE fan, because he has a huge fan base that wants to see him on television. and he just shows up to All Elite Wrestling, you're gonna get at least 100,000 viewers in ratings going over to watch Karrion Kross debut, and that's gonna propel them to close to 700,000 viewers on a TNT TBS broadcast. If you're the WWE and you're worried about and you're making shows to counter All Elite Wrestling with going to the ECW arena, 2300 arena, putting the same shows on the same night as All Elite Wrestling, and you're putting your D-Generation X type of war going after WCW, you cannot allow Karrion Kross to leave your company to work for the opposite company, because that man will bring viewers and it's going to bring a huge followings to All Elite Wrestling. So here's the opportunity to put this man and give him opportunities in some matches, not on main event, but on Monday Night Raw, into a storyline where he's building. Now, if like I've said this time and time again, if Karrion drops the ball and he's not entertaining, given opportunities, then you can't blame the talent. You can't blame creative, you blame the talent. Excuse me, I said that backwards. But he's got to give him the opportunity to get on the stage and do it. Whereas we got Nate Dogg in the building. What's going on, Nate Dogg?
Look, AEW or Karrion going to AEW, like you said, I think people, whether you like AEW or not, you are going to tune in to see what this man has to say, especially if he's given an open mic on his debut. Now, we're not saying it's going to happen because, with Karrion Kross going on social media and talking about him and Logan Paul, seems like there's something there. And I'm talking about storyline and not storyline. They could, because let's be honest, I don't care about the behind the scenes shit with the wrestlers. I really don't. I wouldn't be surprised if Logan Paul and Karrion Kross have some like ill will, especially like with Logan Paul, feeling like, well, or like Karrion Kross said, I don't have a problem with Logan Paul. I have a problem with the way he comes in, whatever, him kind of taking little shots back on his podcast and stuff. There's something there, real life, just like the Seth Rollins and Punk and Drew. They need to incorporate that into television after Logan Paul is done teaming with Cena at Money in the Bank. If you want Cena and Logan to lose clean or not cleanly, why don't you have Karrion Kross come out on the end of the match and cost Logan Paul the pin?
I like it.
If he's not going to be involved in Money in the Bank, you need to get him involved in something. Because I promise you, if that guy comes to All Elite Wrestling, look, a lot of people are bitching about lack of stories. Oh, he's going to give you one. There will be one in AEW for you to watch. Again, we have AEW story. That's not why I watch it. But they got really 2-3 stories max. They have another good one right there with Kross. And again, absolutely, they're not gonna get 800,000, 900,000. But like Kev said, they might get another 100,000 from what they're getting already. So again, and putting him in a match. I mean, there's so many people I would love to see. Karrion Kross and Kenny, Karrion Kross and Okada. I mean, Karrion Kross and MJF. Even anybody in the Heart Syndicate against Karrion Kross, really.
Takeshita versus
that would probably be a 5-star match.
Josh Alexander.
You know what I'm saying? So, I really, because I want to see him in WWE, because WWE for me, again, is where I watch WWE for the story, and I watch AEW for the wrestling. So for him, he fits the story aspect, which is why I want him more on WWE television.
Correct.
But if he comes to AEW, he'll be given a green light, and I think it'd be good for him.
And his contract is coming to an expiration. It's coming. I know they've been talk. I don't know if there's talks of renewing or but what worries you is the lack of television time kind of makes you raise your eyebrow.
And what really worries me, Kev, they did nothing after that promo. Nothing. The bump after WrestleMania. They did nothing. That promo went stupid viral on social media. Everybody was talking about it. JD had to make a whole fucking separate video just to talk about that. So, I mean, I'm saying that because people care. People want to know what the fuck this guy's doing. I don't know, man. I'm starting to get really pissed off on what they're doing, not doing the Karrion Kross. And again, I'm not going to sit here.
off.
I'm not going to sit here and say I've been a big Karrion Kross guy. No, there was a long time where I didn't want him on my TV, but he has won me over in the year of 2025. In the year 2025, his interviews, his the way he speaks about himself, the things he says, it's so fucking hard not to root for this guy. So I'm hoping, again, don't have him. I think the and this last thing I'll say about Karrion, he got released. He got a couple things. Look, in my opinion, they were probably giving him bullshit that didn't fit to what he wanted to do. Now that you're under Triple H's creative, Triple H is more open-minded. Let Karrion do the things he wanted to do that he couldn't do under Vince. And if it sucks, it sucks. But I don't think Karrion was given a fair chance or a fair opportunity to throw everything he had in mind. I think the things he were pitching, we don't want to use that. We're going to do something that we want to do. And Kross is like, what the fuck, man? Like, I know what I'm going to do. Like, I know what I'm capable. I know what I want the story to be. And you guys are trying to fucking change it. So, again, if they would just let this guy have an input on what he's going to do, he would be fucking on fire. But there's so many people holding this guy back. It's the same thing with the previous administration. I don't see him, unfortunately, getting anywhere.
And what sucks is because when he made the debut return for second time around, they put him on Smackdown where you had Roman Reigns tribal chief. And I like the fact he came out, he put the hourglass out there and gave him his time is coming up, which is true. His time was winding down as WWE Undisputed World Champion. He made a great point. But everyone, kind of laughed at it. We're like, oh, yeah, like, really, you're going to touch Roman? But but at the end of the day, if you look at it, hindsight 2020, he was telling the truth. His days of world champions, like the sand in an hourglass, were winding down, and it did. But then they moved him to Netflix Raw, which supposedly was going to be this uncensored, unfiltered, anything goes, Monday Night Raw, which is nothing but Monday night commercials. That's all it is. Monday night commercials with ads and and placement, breaking up the wrestling in between because they got to take a break in the spots. Again, we get the international feed. We get to see all the spots that you guys miss out. That's why I encourage you to watch along with us on the playback. You can watch it along at home, and you can watch it along with us on a separate laptop or on your PC. You'll see what we're talking about, and only that we grow our community in wrestling. From a fan to a fans talking about the wrestling. From different point of views. We want to hear it, so that's why we encourage you to join us on the watch alongs, on all professional wrestling watch alongs that we do on the playback channel, Heel of the Ring. That's a cheap plug for our platform. But back to Karrion Kross. When he gets moved from different place, and then you guys in the United States don't get to see the promos that he cuts in between commercials. I'm pretty sure you could recite a Pizza Hut commercial, but you can't recite what Karrion Kross said on his promos or how he's being a puppet. He's a puppet master pulling strings. But great, we would love to see that, but we don't get to see it unfold on Monday Night Raw because we don't see him, out of sight, out of mind. And that kind of worrisome. This guy is uber talented, very talented. Listen, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this again. Like Chris said, he won me over. I didn't feel him with Paul Ellering and AOP. I thought they were terrible. They had my eyes rolling, garbage. I even go back to if you go to Ric Flair's last match, that whole card, I thought him and Davey Boy Smith Jr. had the worst match I ever seen on the independent scene. I swear to God, it put me to sleep. It was terrible. But Karrion Kross and again, I'm giving him all his flowers, all his admiration. He has won me over, and he continues to be one of those wrestlers. I want more TV time, more opportunities for Karrion Kross. And when it even got me to the point to start watching Black and Gold, only his matches, this guy could go. And you know what? I was wrong. And I greatly say it, I was wrong because Kevin Robert Kessler, yes, Karrion Kross, deserves the opportunity to be on TV in 2025. When you have guys outside who weren't wrestlers like a Logan Paul, when you gave Travis Scott opportunity, why isn't this man not getting the opportunity? He has the eye candy in Scarlett, his wife, so you can't. So you're gonna get the pervs watching him eat also because she comes out there looking mighty fine as well. So what's the excuse? That's all I got to say for Karrion Kross. As we move on here, we got some building. There's some more promotions for Worlds Collide with Chad Cable with Hijo de Vaquinho. that's going to set up there. There's a great 6-man tag. Of course, Elio de Vaquero, Dr. Warner Jr., Psycho Clown, Pagano against Legado de Fantasma. Main event time, Rollins versus Sami Zayn and Balor for Money in the Bank. Really good one. You know, we knew that Braun Breaker and Brunson Reed were coming out and doing some shenanigans. Punk actually comes out. Rollins gets the win, but they take out Punk a little bit out there. Rollins wins. They're teasing that he might be a Money in the Bank winner. Did you like Rollins winning and becoming part of that Money in the Bank?
I don't know, because I understand what Paul Heyman's trying to say about, the end games, Seth Rollins getting back that title. I don't think he needs Money in the Bank. And I have a feeling, Kev, that if Seth wins, he's cashing it during the main event.
Money in the Bank?
Yeah, whether it's on Jay or Cena, he's cashing it that same night if he wins it. That's my bold prediction. I don't think if Seth wins that, I don't think they're gonna have Money in the Bank. He's not gonna go on Monday Night Raw with it. I think he'll be Monday Night Raw as the champion.
I think it'll be in June 9th in the Gunther versus Jay match.
Okay, that'd be a good one too.
I think that's where
that's a good one. That could work. I agree with that one. That could work too. Either one's a possibility if Seth wins.
Because you protect Gunther from taking a second loss to Jey Uso.
I agree.
And let's face it, everybody's claiming for Jey Uso to drop the title already. I don't know why.
I agree,
but it is what it is.
I agree, but the only reason I did say Goldberg because they're doing Saturday Night's main event in Atlanta the same day as All In. Yeah, they're gonna have Bill Goldberg come out. They got to build it. Yep. I think that's where the match is gonna happen. He said he wanted it to be. He said he wanted it to be in the South.
But you still got weeks to build. I hear you. I understand. I'm just rebuttaling. For the 9th, you still got a couple weeks before Saturday Night's main. We got like 3.
Absolutely.
3 weeks. Yeah. So there's still time to bring Goldberg. Where Goldberg is there and he could get in his face. You lost that match,
true.
You got cashed in and you didn't win, by Rollins or whatever the case is. There's still time to build this. So that's why I think Seth Rollins might come out at that Monday Night Raw as world champion. I
think either could happen though. Like I totally agree with what you're saying though.
I like it, but they already had a cash in last year's Money in the Bank.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they had it last year. So I don't think. I think they'd be because last year people were pissed. People were pissed at that money. People were mad. No, it made perfect sense. I knew what was going to happen as soon as Drew won it. When Drew won it, I know what's going to happen. He's cashing in and Punk's going to screw him over. I was so happy. I bet you were.
I loved it. I was. Oh, you can watch the watch along. My reaction.
I bet you were. Oh yes. Drew didn't come out and leave as world champion, and it made sense for. Punk and Drew down the future, so we'll see what happens with that. But it was an okay Raw. I didn't mind it.
No, Raw was good. We're going to NXT Tuesday.
Even though we did a whole video on that too.
We did a whole video on that, so we're not going to stay on it too much. We're going to go on there. We have a new North American men's champion in All Legal, Ethan Page. We check our video out. We go into deep detailed discussion on that, and JC Jane shocking the world, beating Stephanie Vaquer, becoming NXT World Champion, where now Stephanie Vaquer is being elevated up to Monday Night Raw. They made that official, but they didn't make it.
I guess Ricky Starks is too.
Ricky Starks. They didn't make it official. They only made one of those 4 names official going up to the main roster. I'm going to still stick with it. I still think Stephanie Vaquer lost count of where the 3-pin was, and she didn't kick out. I still think that was a mistake, but they're going to go with it. They have a chance now to elevate her. I thought that was going to happen after Worlds Collide, but it is what it is. A shocking night on NXT. Here's my thing that's coming out of this. I'm a little concerned. This Tuesday night, you have and by the way, WWE did not send me the confirmation to go to NXT. I'm so pissed off. I did all the proper channels. I wanted to go this Tuesday, but you know what? When one door closes, another one opens. We'll say that at the end of the show. Why? When we don't know NXT, but we got a nice interview coming up, possibly. So I loved it. So you know what? That's fine. If I don't have to go NXT. My point is, Mike Santana's taking on Trick Williams. Now what we mentioned it. We're going to say it again. What's the rush? What's the rush when you have the UBS event coming up in about a month from now, a little over a month, let's say 7 weeks from now, at the UBS Arena in Long Island. Why can we not get Trick and Mike Santana and build it there? What's the rush for a couple of 100 people in NXT who are pro Trick Williams, who are, where I kind of wanted a neutral, well, although Santana's from New York, but a TNA crowd to go for Santana trying to capture that title back. We mentioned it. I still don't know what's the rush. I'm still puzzled in my mind because this Thursday, and I'm going to spoil it, this Thursday on the TNA taping, Elijah is your number one contender. So, but again, Tommy Dreamer doesn't like to do babyface versus babyface, heel versus heel. It kind of stooges the card or the result for Monday for this Tuesday because Elijah's a babyface. He hasn't turned on Joe Henry yet. He hasn't turned heel yet. He's still a babyface. So you know what that means, Chris.
Yeah, it means Santana's going to lose the fucking match on Tuesday. Look, again, you guys can go back into our video. We talked about it. I don't understand it. And it's frustrating because you don't have Joe Hendry as your TNA champion anymore. We know he's out the door going to WWE after he has his match with Cena. Why not build a homegrown? Why not relive that era with Mike Santana? Now, is Mike Santana gonna go to the Royal Rumble and maybe make the TNA title as more publicity as Joe Hendry? Probably not. But when you talk about homegrown talent, I think TNA deserves to have one of their homegrown talent be champion with Joe Hendry being gone. They're still at an important phase in the company. They're still working with WWE. They want to get a TV deal. I think getting him a TV deal helps everything because now we know Elijah, like whatever, it doesn't get fucked into the story for next week. But I don't know why they're rushing this so much. They have it. TNA has it. And this is what I'm talking about with this partnership benefiting NXT more than TNA. Really? You're not going to... So you can have... TNA can send Joe Hendry, Frankie Kazarian, Zach, the Rascals, all up on NXT to have good matches, but you can't... But you give us Trick Williams. You give TNA Trick Williams, and now he's hogging everything. You can't have a match in TNA like Oba did. Even that, Oba versus Moose was on Madison Square Garden on NXT. Where in this partnership is TNA getting the help? None. And now they're fucking over Mike Santana for it. For Trick Williams. What's the rush? Why can't you have Elijah versus Trick Williams? And why does Santana have to get involved? This partnership's not helping NXT or TNA at all at this point. It seems like a one-sided thing, and it's very frustrating to me. Very frustrating, especially when this is supposed to be Mike Santana's moment. This is supposed to be his story, finishing his story. And they're throwing it all the way for Trick Williams in NXT. It's not helping. This partnership has not helped NXT at all, or TNA at all. It seems like it's only ever benefited NXT, Kev.
Look, we are big Mike Santana fans. Huge, uber Mike Santana fan from here to the moon. We wanted it to wait. We didn't want it to happen this Tuesday in an NXT crowd where 500 folks registers to go at no cost to the arena.
There's same people every fucking week.
I was there. I was one of those. I am one of those. I still consider me an NXT follower that goes. I haven't gone in a year, but I consider one of those fans that go there week after week. I did that for a year and a half. Go there every Tuesday, go on the shuttle bus, go to Full Sail, get on the parking lot, go attend. I did it. I've done it. I've been there, done that. I've been part of that crowd. I still consider me part of that crowd. Here's the thing. You have a huge show again, and you see everyone on the online community just going bananas and berserk for Mike Santana's opportunity on NXT showing up. That was great. You could have done teas there. I'm hoping this Tuesday, supposedly NXT is the most dangerous parking lot in the all of professional wrestling. And again, I hope they take out Mike Santana where he doesn't make the match, where it's put a pin on it. Again, Mike doesn't mean that you're a chump. No, man, you're my champion. Next to Damian Priest, you guys are my two champions, man. my two champions. But you know, my love is for Braun Breaker. I'm not gonna still say I'm not gonna be that meme with the kid in the pool with one floating, the other one underneath, dead underneath, and the other one trending water. No. Braun Breaker's still my number one guy because he's the future of wrestling. I've got it. I love Damian Priest. I love, of course, Mike Santana. Those are my three top for when it comes to the men. But my point is, for Mike Santana, I hope you're not a chance. I hope they put you on an injury where you're going to try to make a comeback. Like, you know what? And then he's like, whoa, we never got to, and he could get in his face, set up for the UBS arena. I hope so, because his marketing. I mean, it's, you know, who is helping.
That's the only solution I could see them doing at this point.
I can't see him Trick Williams beating him with a trick shot, getting the 1, 2, 3 on NXT television, because you cannot. How the hell you run that back?
I would be so. Kev, I would be so pissed if that happens on Tuesday.
I can't have Mike Santana.
I said this on Tuesday, or when we did the watch or the review. If Mike Santana gets pinned 1, 2, 3 clean at the end of Tuesday, I won't watch NXT the next week. I'll be so pissed off. There's no way they're gonna fuck this up, Kev. They can't.
And Trick is the world champion. You got to build him strong too. He's a 2-time NXT world champion, and now you're crossover champion for TNA. He is prestige.
And the thing is, Kev, you're gonna have to have him beat Mike Santana for him to build him up.
And that's
where not help, because that is not the long run. TNA and Trick Williams is a transitional, is temporary. This is supposed to get Santana to the world title. This is what it was supposed to be for, not for Trick Williams to dominate and have a long run.
Now, here's the one thing, because I'm trying to think, Chris, how the hell they could do this creatively. I'm trying to think.
What you just said, take out Mike Santana before the match. I don't know what else they could do. Because it can't be the system, because Santana just spend the block on all the system. Elijah in a fucking mask. I don't know. Elijah in a mask, and they reveal it's him later. It can't be Joe Hendry.
And Joe Henry can turn heel on Mike Santana.
And nobody else on that roster has anything to do with Santana, TNA, or
Mustafa Ali. But you're gonna.
He could be the only person.
They just ended that feud.
They just ended that feud. What are you gonna do? Relive it? Are you gonna have him go up against Ali one more time before you have him go against Trick? We don't want to fucking see that again.
The only one I could think of, ladies and gentlemen, the only one I could really think of is Charlie Dempsey. The only one I could think of right now is Charlie Dempsey, because he got Trevion Heights to really respect and hug him, and that kind of bothered Charlie Dempsey. You see Miles Bourne doing his own thing. By the way, Miles Bourne, I believe, is going to challenge for a title for Moose. I'm not sure, or later on the road, Trick Williams for that.
That'd be cool.
TNA. For that TNA World Title on a house show. They did that last night on an NXT house show in Davenport, Florida. We called this shot against Trick for that TNA World Title. I don't know when that's going to be happening or whatever the case was. I don't know. I can see North Quarter Catch Club, no outsiders out here, and Charlie Dempsey, and they all beat up on Mike Santana where he's not going to make it injury. I hope it goes that way personally for that, but I don't know. I just don't want to see Mike Santana get pinned. By the way, he has a busy week. Mike Santana has Puerto Rican weekend coming up from the House of Glory. Great matches. He's going to take on Toma Ishii this weekend. It's Puerto Rico versus the world. Amazing Red will take on Infamous. Then Dad Moth takes on Mander. Diana Perrazzo going to be wrestling in the House of Glory against Clarissa Rivera. That's a.k.a. Electra Lopez. You got Marcus Matter versus the Mighty Monte. And, of course, some many more matches. Hopefully our friends Mike Awesome and Jared Diaz, the Uptown Boys, either in singles competition or in tag team together. Hopefully we get to see them. Hopefully we get to see some of our friends from Spotlight here in that Puerto Rican weekend. That's on June 7th there at Queen. So we'll be promoting that information on our X, on our social media platform. Again, we put this out there. We keep saying it on our watch-alongs. We have put out requests for Mike Santana to come interview with us. We went through the proper channels, DMs, also emails and all that. If Mike, I know he's been really uber busy now with NXT, with
he has a show tonight and fucking Battle Club Pro.
If he interviews with us sometime this week, we will be doing the live watch along of House of Glory Puerto Rican weekend. we will say Money in the Bank. We'll watch it on the replay. We'll watch it Sunday night. We'll do Mike Santana live. So that's out there on the table. He doesn't need us. He doesn't need to please these geeks like some people like to call us. But we're willing to do that because that's how much Mike Santana really means to us. Representing from the Bronx and as Damian Priest and many other Boricuas in the professional wrestling on the spotlight. That's why we highlight and we not just them, any other the professional wrestling from our culture. We want to highlight and celebrate and cheer them on. So that's what we're hoping for our end game there. So we'll go on here. Let's go to All Elite Wrestling. Before we go to All Elite Wrestling, I want to give congratulations first and foremost to Callie Armstrong becoming your first inaugural Evolve Women's Champion. So I wanted to give her that on Wednesday night for Evolve. Evolve continues to have great stuff there. But let's go to All Elite Wrestling. This is the Dynamite after Double or Nothing. Boy, this was a bloody physical episode of Dynamite. Chris, where do you want to start? Because we kind of watched it backstage together. We didn't do a watch along, but we kind of watched Dynamite together.
All right. I did not like this show at all.
So a lot of sniffing going on too. This
show was not a good show to come back from Double or Nothing. I will say the opening was awesome. I loved the opening segment between Hangman, Swerve, Ospreay. I don't mind that we didn't see Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page tonight, because we got Tony and Mercedes. We got the Owens out of the way. Next week, they're doing a 4-hour Dynamite. Next week, they're doing that 4-hour Dynamite, which, holy moly, I'm going to be in for a long 4 hours next Wednesday night. But they could do that for there. So I didn't mind that we didn't get a Moxley face-to-face with Hangman in the beginning, because we got Mercedes and Tony later on. I love the Will Ospreay coming out and saying, look, I respect Hangman, Swerve, you're wrong on this. I love you. We disagree. Now, there's multiple things that could happen here. Ospreay, it seems like Ospreay for the next couple of weeks could try to get Hangman and Swerve on the same page. Maybe Ospreay and Swerve could go on the same page, maybe to take down the Young Bucks, or maybe Ospreay and Swerve, they could rebuild that, which was supposed to be last year's Wembley match, but, Tony Khan just wanted to feed in Bryan Danielson in there, so we didn't get that match. So I think the long storytelling, we don't get stories in AEW, which, again, I watch WWE for the stories. I watch AEW for the matches. I don't give a fuck if they have stories or not, but they do. So let's try to give this a little more thought and a little more try to, what's the word? Like, give it a chance, because these are your three biggest stars. Ospreay, Hangman, Swerve. This was any other three people, I'd say don't give a fuck about it. Don't waste your time. But these are literally your three stars. So that's how I felt watching these three guys in the ring at the same time, because it was great. Now, you start off with a really good opening, and the rest of the show is down here. Why the fuck are we getting a Jon Moxley, Gabe Kidd, and Marina with Willow? We just saw these guys at Anarchy in the Arena literally Sunday. Why are we getting this match? So we start off, the first match of the night is a trios match. Okay. The second match after that, the Megan Bayne, Penelope Ford versus Harley Cameron and Anna Jay. Talk about a match that did not have to happen on this show. I guess Harley Cameron's being written off TV, so she worked all of us with that nose injury, unless it is real or not. But why the fuck did you give us this match after we just had Anarchy in the Arena? And we just had a match between Briscoe and Ricochet that had all this blood and violence. What does this do for Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford? All four of these women, but having this indie-rific death match, tag team tornado. It was okay, but holy shit, like Anna Jay landing her face on the chair, like that, those were some bad bumps. Bad bumps. I did not like this match at all. It did not need to happen. Then we have another trios match for the Ops. Okay, first off, did you see the frat house that this fucking stupid ass group called the Frat House? So Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata are in the ring. They're in the ring, and here comes Preston Vance.
You're muted, pal. You're muted, pal. Your microphone is off. You're still muted. He's got a little bit of technical difficulties, but the frat house pulled his microphone.
The frat house pulled my microphone because they didn't want me to talk about them. My bad, everybody. Shit happens sometimes. But they had the frat house come out with a stupid frat promo. Samoa Joe and Power Hobbs and Shibata are in the ring looking at each other like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we in this predicament? This shit's stupid. I mean, this was the worst gimmick I've ever seen in my life. The frat house are the worst. I saw, is that Griff Garrison? Like, that was awful. I never want to see these guys on my TV again. I will turn the channel so fast and I won't go back. And then, well, obviously, we know. Now, this is what I want to get into. Two more things, and then I'll stop talking. You had Jamie Hayter come out to the ring looking fine as fuck for an interview. Here comes the Spider, and what was her name? The Toxic Spider, Takika. She's from Stardom. I have no idea who the fuck this girl is. I'm going to be honest. You come out there, you have Jamie Hayter, who just had one of the best matches of her career, probably the best women's match of this year, and you had her come out there and get absolutely buried. The cameraman didn't even... This is why you have production meetings. Me and Kev have a fucking production meeting, for God's sake. We have production meetings here, and AEW can't have one. The cameraman completely missed the spot. The cameraman had the cameras on the Spider, on the Jumbotron, and then we missed her attacking Jamie Hayter, and then what we saw was her doing the fucking Bray Wyatt Spider shit. This was a horrible debut. You didn't even give us who the hell this person was. You didn't have her come out and do a promo. You had her attack one of your top wrestlers for nothing. Nothing. I hated every single bit of this shit. Now, I'm not even going to talk about Josh Alexander versus Brody King because Alexander losing is bullshit. And I don't care about Tony Storm and Mercedes because they're killing the entire women's division. And that I can't believe I had to wait 2 hours to sit what I watched. That was awful. That was a horrible Where have you been, my darling? That was stupid. I hated every single bit of that. Now, I'm going to end with this. Kyle Fletcher, who I thought he was, I didn't have a problem with him. Why are you in a match with Adam Cole, knowing his history of concussions and brain injuries, and you threw him on a power bomb and you fucking missed? Kev, we were watching this backstage, and I literally said, I think Adam Cole's dead. I think Kyle Fletcher just killed Adam Cole. Dude, you barely hit the side of the mat, and then the side, it hits it. That was horrible. That was brutal. Kyle Fletcher did not see if you didn't see the spot, why did you do it? This is unsafe. This is bad. I get it. It's wrestling. Look, we say this with botches and all this. It's wrestling. It happens. I'm not gonna say that shit for this. You know who you're in the ring with. You're in the ring with a man who couldn't even get up because he was throwing up because of how fucked up his head was. And you're gonna have no consideration. You could have killed that man on TV. He could have died in national TV in front of 700 to 600,000 people. That is very careless by Kyle Fletcher, and I'm very disappointed in what took place because that spot was not needed for this match. You didn't even have to have this match at fucking this week's Dynamite. If you wanted to have this match, why don't you build it for All In? What does Kyle Fletcher have going on? What does Adam Cole have going on? Nothing. So why can't you build this up with words, with promos? This didn't have to have a match because you almost got your TNT champion fucking killed. This was not a good Dynamite. I rate the Dynamite a 4 out of 10. Go ahead, Kev. Floor is yours.
All right, let's go with that. There's a lot of handful there. First and foremost, here's the one thing that came out of that. You said Anarchy on the Arena. Why do we need that with Gabe Kidd and Maria Shafin and John Moxley, that 6-man tag? What came out of it was Gabe Kim spitting in the face of Willow Nightingale. It doesn't matter if you're a white man spitting on a black woman, if you're an Asian man spitting on a Jewish woman, or at Disney, you don't spit at a woman's face, no matter what you do in wrestling.
That's another
was
thing
very
I hated.
disgusting.
I didn't even bring that up because I thought it was disgusting. I hated that shit. No, it was. And it, like,
You're missing. Yeah.
I understand you wanting to be extreme and do. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm Willow, I'm saying fuck the match, fuck everything. I'm beating your ass, real life, in front of everybody, in front of the whole world. Like, you don't spit on my fucking face. I did not like that spot. And Gabe Kidd, I couldn't even tell at times if Gabe Kidd was Moxley.
That's a good point. They're so lucky that I hope that ink did not dry. I hope that ink is dry where that contract extension for Willow Nightingale. I hope she got paid, because to get disrespected like that from her, and where women are having a hard time getting booked, pushed, or even showcased, you're gonna get spit on the face. You get spit on the face by him. Damn, mijita, that doesn't go well with me. That's not the right way to do. That's very disrespectful. Now, do they want to have intergender match? I'm all good. I'm all for it. You know what? Let's get the intergender match as long as it's safe. That spot I thought was a little bit distasteful, in my opinion, for especially Willow Nightingale, who I have so high praise for her. I think should be the babyface, the top notch number 1, number 2 woman in the company. But that's for another argument for another day. For her, I'll say this. The Megan Bay, Penelope Ford, Anna Jay, Henry Cameron, we said this here time and time again, they're pushing those AEW tag team titles, but it all comes out now. Reports have broken nose for Anna Jay, Harley Cameron with a broken nose, and also she's been injured. So she is written off television. She requested, she wants time away from wrestling to the point where she doesn't know if she's contemplating returning. Reports have it she's contemplating her not even returning to the professional wrestling
I don't
scene.
blame her if I don't blame her at this point, dude. She needs development. She needs somebody to actually train her, and she's not good. She's hot, she's hot, and she made me laugh a couple times with the puppet. When you saw the Mercedes match at Grand Slam in her hometown, by the way, her home country, Australia, she's not good. Mercedes made her look decent. This match, that's why she has fucking indie spots fest matches. What are you doing with Megan Bayne? Why isn't she in a title match? Again, I know why, because you have your 2 fucking champions going at it. Why? What are you doing with Megan Bayne? Do you guys look at her? Have you seen her? Fuck the hotness for a second. She looks like a women's wrestler. She's tall. She's big. She has the size. I don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing with this women's division in AEW. I don't. I don't. You're 6 weeks away from your freaking WrestleMania, from your version of WrestleMania. Come on.
Yep. And again, this is where, well said by veterans in the wrestling business, there is no production, there is no meetings, there's no bookers, or there is agents, there's bookers, but no one's listening. Everyone does whatever the hell they want. No one's putting an effort there, because they could have avoided that spot for Anna Jay. If Holly Cameron was going to take time off, like they claiming now, or not going to be there, or contemplating not returning to wrestling ever again, whatever the case is, whatever the dirt sheets are reporting out there, then you could have prevented an Anna Jay injury. Now you lost 2 top draw of women, at least eye candy wise, because I don't think Anna Jay is a good wrestler either. I hate to say it, I don't think she's great either. She's just
she's never been a good wrestler. She's always just been hot.
That's
and she's known because she's literally what people call her, Anna Jay. Oh yeah, that's Jack Perry's girlfriend.
and always a peach emoji behind her. I hate to say that. That's because that's the stereotype that the wrestling community given her. Yeah, and is there room for her to
they haven't, but the thing is, I don't agree with that, Kev, but she hasn't shown anything for us to prove otherwise, for us to think otherwise.
There you go. Exactly. She was there. She was part of Jericho's appreciation, where if you were going to learn how to be a professional wrestler, conduct yourself, or sports entertainer, it was under Jericho.
And you couldn't do it with Jericho, which we could sit here and talk about how much we want this guy to retire. He's one of the greatest of all time. I will say it at least.
At least he's a producer. At least he's an in-ring agent producer that can help some of these talent get over. But exactly,
there's nothing on this show that. Again, I liked the beginning of the show. and everything else from this was not good. Why the hell is Brody King beating Josh Alexander? You didn't want to give Brody King a push all fucking year, and now you're having him beat Josh Alexander. If you want to get the title off Kenny so he can go against Okada, why wouldn't you give it to Josh Alexander?
I don't know. I don't know why, but you just brought in Josh Alexander. You debut him in a tournament in a no-lose situation. You put him in a tournament that you know he wasn't going to win, and he loses.
They put him against Hangman.
Yeah. And then now you got Brody King. So what do you even think about Josh Alexander, jobber? He's not, he's always losing. How should I invest in him?
He's been in 2 tournaments and lost all of them already. In the first
round.
So
how's he a walking weapon man, that's a terrible walking weapon. I don't give me that weapon. Nope, I'll pass. I'll take my chance with Brody King. That's what you mentioned there. And again, and Tony booked himself in a no-win situation, Chris, because if Josh beats Brody King, he doesn't know how to book the big man. There's Brody King jobbing to Josh Alexander. If Josh Alexander wins or loses, now we're talking there. Because he wants to rush everything. He wants to put them together. We're going to put a show. Instead of taking one of those big, convoluted, stupid matches on Double or Nothing, and would have left it for Wednesday, like the Hurt Syndicate versus the Tag Team Champions.
He should have left Okada. If they would have done Okada versus Speedball for the main event of the show, it would have been. I would have given it maybe a 7 out of 10 instead of a 4, because the match was really good.
Two matches. They could have taken them from Double or Nothing and put it on Dynamite. Would have been better. Yeah. But then we get Chase University low budget.
That is horrible. Guys, look at that. Look how freaking bad that is. Oh my God. That is the most AI'd logo I've ever seen, first off. Look at Griff Garrison in the background looking like an idiot. Who the fuck is the clown in front of him? Why? This was bad. I don't want to see these goofballs on my TV ever again.
You know what? Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit on the opposite, just a little bit, not too much. You want to see new young talent in the group there. They gotta make their debut. They gotta be shown, but not the Dynamite after Double or Nothing. That could have been easily a collision spot for you to see. Fair. To show you, introduce you. If they get over and work their ass off on Collision, you bring them in, and then you get the momentum going on Dynamite. You set him up for failure from his debut on this type of match here. On this debut after Double or Nothing. You got excitement. You're excited. You want to see All In is coming up. You got all that, and then you get that where you're like, oh my God, like you say, why the hell do we got to see these clowns? Because you're riding this high, and you get this downer. You're like, you could have left it and let them, like the Acclaim got over slowly with Scissor Me. First they were corny with the listen. Then they started ascending, and they were really great. That's what you had to do with the Frat House. Unfortunately, now everyone sees them. I don't want to see them. I don't want them on my television. Get the hell out on my TV. They put them in a position to fail. They could have gotten over. Maybe they could have gotten over. I'm just trying to be that other guy, not being totally.
But the reality is, Kev, they don't know how to do storylines, because you're gonna tell me, wait, time out. Because again, I love this company so much. There's just certain weeks I don't want to talk about it anymore, and I'm at that point. But listen, you're gonna tell me, because you said a claim. Hey, listen, ironic, right? Why the frick don't you have a proper build this time for Caster and Bowens at All In? You had to have this clown be his mystery partner at a pre-show. And you can't give these guys who've done a lot for that tag team division in the beginning, mid-years of AEW, who they were so again, at one point, the Acclaim were one of the most over tag teams in the business. And you can't give these guys a proper feud against each other at your biggest show of the year. Really? They're fucking fumbling that storyline. They're going to take forever to get to Okada versus Omega 4. First time in the States, which is the reason Tony brought the man in AEW to begin with. And they're going to build this story with less than 5 weeks to go. Really? They need to fucking get their shit together, put their foot on the gas, and start building for All In Texas, just like you would for Wembley last year. You need to do it now. Double or Nothing was supposed to be your quote-unquote Royal Rumble to set you up for All In. And that's not what happened. So this 4-hour Dynamite that's coming up has to be the start to those stories.
We'll see on that. We'll see on that, Chris.
That's all I have to say about AEW this week. It was fucking awful.
I'm going to give my thoughts on the Tesla makes her debut against Jamie Hayter. Again, no production. If they would have shot it different, you would have cared a little bit about Tesla coming out. Would have showed that Jamie Hayter.
We didn't even see her attack Jamie Hayter. The next thing we saw was her doing the spider. And I literally said to myself, what the fuck happened? And the production fucked up because the spider was on the Jumbotron before the music even hit. You saw people looking at the Jumbotron. You saw Renee and them still in the ring talking so they screwed up that too.
Production does a lot of mess up, from showing people blading themselves. And I don't know if Tony, and I'm gonna blame Tony Khan. He should be screaming and yelling and getting upset and threatening people about losing their job because they're getting clowned. He's very passionate. He will tell you, "Oh, my numbers are great. Tune into Dynamite. Thank you for watching," all that good stuff. But then he has to hold people accountable in their production. Listen, what are we shooting here? Is he not watching the show himself? Not as a listen, we all do YouTube channels. We're not the perfect YouTube channel. We're not. We got some errors. We got some mistakes. I still watch it and say, how can I make this better? How can I watch my program? How can I make it better from microphone or from when someone says, "Oh, am I live? Can you hear me?" We want to fix that. We want to fix that. I've watched and I go, damn, we need to fix it. We can't have that on live. I'm using that myself as an example. Tony, are you not watching your own product and say, how can we fix this? You're on a national television show. Then you shouldn't be having these production mistakes. Us as YouTubers, we can have those mistakes because we're amateurs. We're doing it for fun. But you guys you're getting paid billions, millions of dollars, multi-million contract. You shouldn't be having that. You should be filming that on check, on point, and putting people accountable. You're not. This is not free. This is not $19.99 or $14.99 Meltzer stuff. This is millions of dollars. You shouldn't be having these product issues on your television or these mishaps. You had to present Tesla. You've been building her. You did finally the right thing of building a person coming into your company who's being a threat. You debut her and you totally dropped the ball with it. Like, that's what a way. You only get you only make a first impression. And that's the first impression she's got. It's not going to go good on the 8 ball for her going forward. And for Jamie Hayter, when her contract is up, no way in hell she's re-signing with that company. She's out the door.
Hell no. You think I'm re-signing with a company that I was their women's champion for a year? I had to drop the title due to injury. And you had me debut for my return in my country on the fucking pre-show. Excuse my language, but that upsets me because she's one of the best wrestlers in that division. Oh my God, she's probably the 3rd best wrestler in that division behind Mercedes and Tony. And they're not doing. Do you understand why I get frustrated like this, Kev, when it comes to this company? Do you understand me now? Does that make sense? Because why? Why does Jamie? What did Jamie Hayter do to you besides be your champion for her to deserve this?
There's potential in that company with talent. Here's the thing. I think why Chris gets frustrated is there's a lot of potential men and women in that company.
Because I've seen it for the last 5 years. I've seen it the early days, the early days of AEW. I know how Tony can book. I know how these talent could do. I know what they could do. They were so together when they first started. I don't know. Cody leaving, just everything fucking turned apart backstage.
Because you know why it turned into crap and why? Because it showed that the owner in Khan, he is not meant to be a wrestling owner. He is not meant to be running this business. I have to say that I agree. Due to the fact that when he went in, there was no enemies. There was no animosity. There is no personality. There's nothing personal. The minute it got personal when Cody leaving because he saw the direction going a different way. He saw things not going the right way. Tony Khan took it personal instead of treating it as a business. All right, you know what, business, you know what, show must go on. Then Punk, and then now it got to the point that now he's doing things without animosity.
That fucked, the all brawl out Brawl Out, when the day that Dark Side of the Ring airs a episode on AEW, Brawl Out is again, I've been watching this company since the second ever Dynamite. I watched the first ever Double or Nothing in 2019. I watched All In. All In. I meant. I can tell you right now, Brawl Out caused everything for this downfall. Because Tony didn't want to put on his big boy panties and talk to CM Punk like a boss. Because, CM Punk's it's CM Punk. I grew up watching. No. You didn't be a boss. You weren't a boss. And then the biggest draw that company's ever had, you let it go. Because you didn't want to be a boss. You didn't say, hey, you're either going to get your shit together or you're both on suspension for the time being. Like, I'm not like, again, but he chose sides. He chose the side with the elite. And again, instead of doing business and being an owner and doing what's right for your company, because if you would, CM Punk would still be in AEW. Maybe AEW would be a legit threat to WWE. But instead of Tony being a boss, he wants to be a fan and he doesn't want to do anything. So, again, we can keep having this conversation. It's going to get me upset. It's just going to be the same shit. So we got a Smackdown, an interesting Smackdown to talk about, Kev.
Yes,
so I'm going to leave it at that.
Let me give you my
go ahead. It's
Tony,
your program, brother.
No, it's ours. It's Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné. Like you said, it's killing the division, doing all that. I thought great they had the face-to-face, but
it didn't say much.
It hurted it more than it helped it. Because Mercedes almost fell doing her stupid dance. Tony Storm rolling in the ring with what are we doing? It was cringe.
It was really bad. The personalities don't mix for this feud. And I'm scared because these are literally your top two women. I'm not just saying that because they had the championships. These, on paper, Mercedes and Tony Storm are your best fucking wrestlers.
I like the fact that she's no longer a boss. She's a CEO. I give her that. That was great. Great line. Bam. Grand slam. Hit it out of the park. But listen, Queen of the Ring is over. They're not doing part two. They're not recasting that story. The 1950s Meredith Gladys Flo character. Give it a rest. Now, instead of timeless, it's becoming tireless. I said it from the very beginning. It's becoming tireless. Tony Storm is tireless. Get into the game, wrestle. That's great already. Whatever it is. I hope they can knock it out of the park because they are going to in ring. They're going to be great, but man, I'm
scared how this build's going to be, Kev. So now next week, real quick, what I'm hoping for this 4-hour freaking Dynamite.
Oh God.
I just want a good Hangman and Moxley face to face. That's all I want. I want an actual these guys could talk about Brawl Out because they were both involved during that time. I would love for them to take shots at each other.
Yeah, we'll see. We're all going to be watching. We'll be talking about it. So we'll find out what happens to All Elite Wrestling Thursday. We go to Thursday to TNA. This is one of their, I believe, one more taping in Canada. This one we had a number one contenders match for the TNA Tag Team Champion, men's. You have First Class, that's AJ Francis, Casey Navarro, the Aztec Warriors, Laredo Kid, and Octagon Jr. The System, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards with Alicia Edwards. They were trying to get back their tag team gold, and the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. I'll give you the results. Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel are your number one contenders. The Rascals come out. Great job there. And we have a newcomer to TNA. We got two new ladies joining us. What are their names? Maya Grace and Haiti Hudson. So they're introduced, new signees. Great job there. They were interrupted by the Consigliere with Zaya Brookside. Connie stepped in and sent them away. So she welcomed them in. So we got some new ladies joining the company, which is great for TNA. Mustafa Ali wins via Finn fall. He beats Raja Singh. So they get that victory there. Xia Li or Li Ying Li from Chongqing, China, pins Ash by elegance. So good for her. I love every time I can hear where she's from, I always pop. I love it.
Yo, we need to get a fucking t-shirt of that, bro.
Mance Warner gets a victory. So Mance Warner, it looked like he's going to be the number one contender for that international title. Let me see anything. Oh, first time ever mixed tag team, father and daughter, Santino Marella and Andrade Grace takes Victoria Crawford and Stone. Guest referee, Mr. Corduroy himself, Jimmy Corderas, was the referee there. Winner is Victoria from the Reffing It Up. Refing it up with Jimmy Corderas. Victoria Crawford and Robert Stern via pinfall. The axe kick from Victoria to Adriana Case. So, okay, here we go. We got a little bit. And the main event, of course, number one contender, Elijah becomes the number one contender for the title, which we talked about there. Let's go. We'll find out with TNA. We're going to skip a little bit quick. Let's go to Friday Night SmackDown. We have a different opinion here when it came to Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, this is the beauty of the show, brother.
I thought Friday Night SmackDown was very, very good. And I tolerated at the end. That was okay. I could have been a little bit, but I thought the whole show went for a show that we thought was going to end in 2 hours, going back to reverting. They say, no, they're keeping it 3 hours. It went really well. I thought from the opening from Bianca Belair coming out, I loved it to see her, her Knoxville homecoming, where her parents in the front row. I love the fact that Naomi interrupted, had that promo. Then Jay came out, and then we hit into the triple threat Benny in the Bank qualifier. The right person to me went over, and Naomi. I love the way how they told that story. They got to it. Here's the one thing I had a gripe was the Tennessee crowd. I go back to this. If you watch my watch along 2 years ago when they had that first Monday Night Raw in Nashville, I think the crowd in Tennessee, in Nashville and Knoxville, they suck. Sorry, guys. You guys suck. Tennessee, except for Heather Wright, but everyone else, you guys suck. And Pittsburgh doesn't stay behind either, Chris. I'm sorry because I'm telling you, no. I'm sorry because I got to. Chris, I gotta be real. Those crowds in those cities, they suck. And Tennessee is the number one.
They're coming to Pittsburgh in June, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll be doing the watch along, so we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see.
I hate to say that because I used to say that before you were on, so I'm not going to be hypocritical and start.
No, I believe that. We'll see. If they suck when we do the watch along, I'm going to be very disappointed.
No, but I got to be honest with you. I want to be. I don't want you to say, "Oh, he's a fucking fake" because he was. He's here.
I don't. Hey, there's. I'm not. That doesn't bother me.
But Tennessee is the number one. Right? They're the first one. They're going in. They're going in balls deep. How much they suck because they stunk. The match was good with the ladies, and they stand on their feet. They stand on their hands. If you watch the replay, they were terrible. I'm like, come on, these ladies are working. They were quiet. But Naomi gets the victory. I was so happy for that. There, R-Truth crosses paths with the Bloodline. That was a little back and forth. Was funny because they almost made Solo Sikoa crack and Fatu. They almost cracked a smile to laugh because R-Truth is just hilarious. Yo, you guys are some big bone guys, man. R-Truth, whenever he's on, he is golden. That's why. Chelsea Green wearing a mask, the face mask. I love that she knocks it out of the park. She had no makeup on. You saw her with no makeup, like, oh, Chelsea. And it was great because it fit to the character. She had the mask. Leads to a match with Alba Fire and Selena Vega. I'm going to put a pin on that right there. Selena Vega versus Alba Fire. Here, look, the days are numbered when Selena Vega is going to stay your United States Women's Champion. It was great that she got the opportunity. She got the opportunity and the stage. Everybody on the internet was give Selena a push, give Selena a chance, give Selena a match. Now how you guys are feeling? I'm asking that question. You honestly ask yourself, is it working, Selena? And listen, Selena's a fellow New Yorker, fellow Boricua. We love her. She's representing us. She's representing La Boricua, La Mujer Boricua, all that. But I'm going to be honest with you. The bell rings. The story or the sequence of the match it's a little rough. As champion, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Thea. I'm sorry. To be honest with you, we know you could be better because you're a former queen. When you were queen of the ring, that's Selena. We need that Selena. I don't know because it's a lack of opportunities, lack of in-ring, but ¿dónde está eso? Where is that? We know you're much more better. Tú eres mejor que eso. You're more better than that, what you be displaying in the ring. And if it's with the agents that want and putting this there, you're going to have to talk to another agent or something, because I don't want to wait until you get released and then you reinvent yourself and you get hot outside of wrestling with promos and stuff, because a lot of these wrestlers do that. They're in WWE, they eat shit, and the minute they get released, they become so intrigued like an Indy Hartwell and others. Where the F was this when you were in the WWE? Don't wait to get released to be intriguing. You know, we need that. Despiértate, mija. We got an audience and a group, a fan base that wants to cheer you on and wants your success. We're not here to try to say and want your demise or your release. We want success for Zelina Vega. What you're giving us right now, it's not successful right now. It's not great. And you have some different opponents. I thought with her and it's okay, not too much of a big obstacle for Zelina with Alba Fire. Alba Fire could go, and the match still was not so great, Chris. I want to put a pin. I want to get you in there. I don't want to talk too much because I want to make sure you get in without losing your train of thought.
No, you're good. I appreciate that. No, yeah, it is a 3-hour show. Like Smackdown is a 3-hour show. There's a lot of things to go over. So I'll say this: the opening, I didn't hate the show. There's just a lot of things that I disliked more than I liked. I love the opening segment. I've waited so long to see these three women in the ring have some type of something with Jade, Bianca, and Naomi. So I loved it. Nia Jax continues to have some of the best matches in that roster. But I am so happy Naomi won. She's a heel that they're generally trying to build up. They lack that in the women's division. It seems like everyone's a baby face. So this is good. I'm very happy for Naomi. I gotta see who else is all of it, but she might be second or my pick to win. Like I would be like really happy for if they won. So let's say that, right? Zelina, I agree with everything Kev said, and I'm sorry. It's been really hard to watch the Zelina Vega match recently. And again, sorry if I'm kind of repeating some of the words Kev said. I'm not a New Yorker, but I am a Puerto Rican. So I'm always going to support my people. Even though me and Zelina had a little or something. She wasn't happy with me. She told me that, but we made it up. We're fine. She's liked some of my stuff since. But come on, we know who trains you, Alistair. He's such a great in-ring dude. I mean, where's that? Where's I mean, from look, the botches again. I know we're not. It's a 619. It's not the easiest move, you know, but people are talking to you about that already. You got to help yourself. You have to help yourself. Because WWE, they gave you your chance that you wanted, that we wanted. And again, we talk about times where, you know, it could be up to the creators, the bookers, the writers. But when you're given the shot, it's up to the talent. And I hate to say it because I'm a Zelina Vega fan. You have not delivered since given that opportunity. So I'm really hoping Julia takes the title off of her next when they have their argument, or that's their argument. Their match. R-Truth in the ring with JC. I knew the match was going to be short as hell, but again, I makes JC. I'm not. Why did I just call him that? Jeff Cobb. It makes Jeff Cobb look good, and R-Truth is funny. Now they did the tag team stuff. Guys, I'm sorry. With all due respect, I don't get 2 F's about the Wyatt Six. They just been doing this. They did the same thing they did last week.
Put a pin because I've got a lot.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
You're good. Before we get to the Wyatt Six, because I think we both are mutual on it. Let me run through this.
No, really, Go ahead. My bad.
Because I want to get to that because I think we're going to spend a chunk of minority time talking about that. We saw the match with Chelsea come out with the face protector. She hits Alba Fire Selena retains. All right. You get Naomi. We get backstage Tiffany Stratton. She gets run in by Naomi, saying she's next. Alexa Bliss. We saw her there. Before that, I know in the background we saw Joe Gacy walking in the back. One of the members on our live watch along, I think it was Nate, if I'm not mistaken, pointed that out, or Ethan, one of those two. I want to get forgive me if I got the wrong information, which one gave it to me in the background. So they teased that for later in the night. R-Truth, JC Marrero, great shot, great match. It served its purpose. It told that story. And then let me see if I see anything else. Oh, the kudos, honorable mentions to see Javon Evans on television teaming up with Ray Phoenix. That was a hell of a match. That was a fun match there.
Yeah, they're just building up for the Worlds Collide thing.
They did, and also seeing the Gazas getting a victory. Javon Evans, you know what? I felt so happy because, you know, he's only 20 years old, and he tells the story how his grandmother got him in professional wrestling. I resonate to it because my grandfather got me into wrestling as a fan, as you know, to watch it and love it. And I know his grandmother must be happy and proud watching Javon on a Friday night SmackDown on national television, making his wrestling show debut for the world globally to see him. I felt so happy. I identify not because I'm a wrestler. I identify as a third generation watcher of wrestling, and knowing Grandpa got you in it, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. So kudos for Grandma Bouncy. I'm gonna, I don't know her last name is Evans, but hopefully I don't get it, So Grandma Bouncy, that she's happy to see her grandson on television. That was great. That was good. We are NXT, so that's why that made me feel proud always. They're building up for Ethan Page. I thought was great on the microphone for the SmackDown commentary. He was entertaining. He was fun. I need to see Ethan Page. I still say he should have been the third man when The Rock fumbled that coming back with Travis Scott and John Cena, because Ethan would have been there each and every week talking on the mic, taking the comeuppance. But that ship sailed. I'm not going to rehash that, but I thought Ethan Page shows you why he's going to be soon on the main roster, because he is that type of heel. Here's one we're going to get to. Let's go right into it, because Damian Priest caused a great, because then we'll go into the Wyatt. Let's go with Damian Priest right now. He cuts a great promo. He comes out with the black eye.
I wanted to talk about that too. So
showing the visual of he went to war with Drew McIntyre. He says, "I still can't stand your guts, but I give you respect because I got the Drew McIntyre, who is the Celtic warrior, or the Scottish warrior, the Scottish warrior, and he bought it. He wasn't hiding behind social media. We went to war. Hopefully that's over. I liked it. What's next for Damian? He wants to go against another hard ass in a Jacob Fatu. He says and then they cross path. I was like, bravo. Great storytelling, awesome. Setting the scene. I love it.
That was awesome. No, I have nothing much to add. I wanted to talk about that. That's awesome. That's really good, because now we know that Fatu lost his match for the qualifier. I'm kind of curious to see, though, because I do think they're gonna do Solo and Jacob at some point. Maybe Solo causes Jacob. I don't know, but I've been one of those people that I've been wanting to see Jacob Fatu on WWE for years. Like, I watched him in MLW, Indies. Like, I know all about Jacob, just like his cousin Zilla. And this is the one match I wanted to see. So I'm really excited.
We're all going to be excited for that. Let's go. Of course, Money in the Bank qualifier, like he said, the Andrade gets the qualifier because due to some shenanigans outside the ring, a little bit of a distraction there. So Sikoa causing Jacob Fatu. Melo doesn't get there, although I think Melo, we saw a promo earlier with a little bit of a tease with Miz and Melo not really.
Thank God, man.
That's going to come to an end, which we all know what's going to happen, so they're going to pull that trigger. We also saw Melo pulling out the table, and I said it on the watch along. Are we getting a babyface Melo here all of a sudden when he pulled the table? And then he pulled the table back underneath, came back to the dark side immediately. So they're teasing Melo as a babyface. The run is coming. We'll find out with Melo in the future. With Miz, is he going to be the babyface? But I think Andrade needed this victory more than anything to go to Money in the Bank. Especially if he's not going to be in the Worlds Collide card, he's on Money. But you also want Mexican representation at Money in the Bank because everyone's all involved there. And I like that he is going to the Money in the Bank. And he also delivers. Andrade delivers. He hasn't had a bad match. What Andrade's issue is when he talks, commanding your attention. Some people might, he has an accent. I understand him. I have no problem. But some people might complain about the accent and or don't give him a microphone, shut him down for Andrade. I again, that's a stereotype. I don't think that's perfect. I don't think that's true.
Understand. Obviously, I understand it.
Let's go right into the tag team part when we had the Street Profits who came out, who had a hell of a promo there talking, and then you get interrupted with all the different tag teams, which you all knew where it was going. You know, you had DIY come out, you had Axiom, Fraction. By the way, Def Rebel, you please never do music again. When you get fired from the WWE, don't produce no
Metro Boomin's on Twitter right now asking WWE to let him be the producer.
Triple H made the announcement. He is. Triple H made the official announcement. Yep.
Yes, because he's the producer for.
I'm surprised you didn't see my tweet. I retweeted it. Triple H pointing at
really busy. I didn't know that because he produces like Future, 21 Savage, like a lot of my favorite artists. If I listen to rap,
he's gonna do Bianca Belair remix, Jacob Fatu. He mentioned a couple, Seth Rollins.
He mentioned a couple. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He mentioned a couple artists that he's working on already. Man. No, it's official. It's official. Metro Boom is officially with the WWE. That's the end of Def Rebel because I think those introductions from Axiom and Nathan Free just sucks. I mean,
oh my God! Wait, real quick. Bronson Reed is another one that just said I want a theme song from. Yeah.
No, yeah, he's getting Bronson Reed. Yeah. So Metro Boom is going to be working with the music intro. That's a great stuff. We all saw everyone come out. And the thing was, when these wrestlers come out, you don't know who they are because the music almost sounds generic. It all sounds like the Solo Sikoa, Taking It All, Jacob Fatu sounds. They all sound the same. It's all generic. It sucks. And then the Wyatt Six comes out. The same nonsense. The lights go off. Then all of a sudden they're in the ring. They cause havoc. They all gather for the picture. And then you get that vignette of Nikki Cross comes out. Nikki Cross is going to jump off the table on another female wrestler, copy or repeat. I said it on my live stream, and I said it. I don't care no more about the Y6. I'm not invested in them. I couldn't get a crap because they're going to do copy and repeat. You got the Y6 coming into the tag team division. Who's the two? Where's it going to be? There's 4 members or 5 members in that Y6. 5 members currently right now. Which two? I'm not invested. I'm at the point. It was nice. You did the tribute. Go away. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Go. The floor is yours. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I hate to say it. I really do hate to say it, but I've also lost interest in the Wyatt Six. They've been gone for so long. They didn't really do much when they were there, besides the shit that they've been doing the last 2 weeks. I thought the reveal was awesome. When they did the backstage thing to close the show, Chad Gable was like dead on the backstage and back in Gorilla. I thought the reveal of the Wyatt Six was really good. They unfortunately didn't do anything to capitalize on it after. And look, I love the tribute stuff. I really do. It's touching, it makes sense, especially, on specific days. But what else are you going to do? Can you, if they're saying the tag team division, what are they going to do besides the spooky stuff that they're doing right now? I have lost interest. Why can't Bo Dallas go on the microphone and explain to us what he wants to do or explain something? He's just doing the same things every week. And we know when it's coming. I don't want to see it anymore. And I'm sorry. Because I know there's a lot of Wyatt Six fans. And, they might be upset with this. And, that's your opinion. I respect it. But this has nothing to... All this has to do with is what's being presented on TV. And they're not presenting anything. But the same thing over and over. What are they... What are they here for? Exactly. What are they going to do? What's their mission? Why did they take out people to begin with? They've yet to explain that to us, and that was a year ago. I don't know what else you want me to do. I don't know why you guys... Why does the WWE want me to be invested in the Wyatt Six?
They're quickly going to throw QR code. Oh, wow. Like, really? So they're good for QR code.
We did that already, and we knew that what was going on. And half of the time, I didn't even do it because I'd see it on Twitter from Fadeaway Media 2 seconds after.
Yeah, I'm not invested in the Wyatts. I'm not invested. I don't, to me, I'm like, all right, you're okay. I don't really want to see them on television anymore because I know what's going to end. I know the end game. They're not going to be. You're not putting any of them in the main event scene. You're not. Bo Dallas is not with that stupid mask. Is not going to be a main event world champion. I'm sorry, they're not. He doesn't transcend like a Bray to be a world heavyweight champion, the face of a company. They might get some tag team gold here and there. Yes. Maybe a Nikki Cross. I don't even see Nikki Cross winning a world title. Maybe not. Julia's going to reign on SmackDown. And she's going to be United States champion. Could they be an interesting feud with Julia and Nikki Cross? Okay, maybe for a couple of weeks. Okay, at best. Everyone wants Alexa Bliss to be part of that. Was she teasing here and there? And okay, Alexa joins the Wyatt Six. Then what, guys? Can you tell me then what? Explain to me then what? What next? Alexa's there. Yay! Alexa joined. Then what? There isn't anything there.
That is not good for her career going forward. I said this last weekly wrestling, Kev, when I talked about I didn't like the fact that they wasted 2 weeks on TV for Charlotte and Alexa. I said, please don't go back to the Wyatt Six. Please don't. I talked about it on Monday, on Memorial Day. Don't do that. I hope she does not go there. Because like you said, yay, then what?
Exactly. That's my point. That's what I want. What's next? And I'm not feeling invested in the Wyatt Six. I'm sorry. I thought they botched their debut when they come out, and to me, and then all right, I was open-minded. Like I say it again, not to sound like a broken record.
I thought it was really cool when they came, like the backstage thing when they came out in Gorilla, and they had Gable.
That was great.
On the floor. That was
really great television. But it didn't have to be in July. It should have been in September because you're gearing up to Halloween season, man. Not in July when you're freaking barbecuing and 4th of July, hot dogs and hamburgers and going to the pool. Not in July. Wrong place at the wrong time. It's like the frat house coming out on Dynamite. That should have been Collision. They set them up from failure from the beginning. That should have waited. Wait until it gets colder, dark, or eerie, so you'll feel more in the spirit. But no, they went with that early. And look at the reap and the talking heads like a Cornette, like a La Greca, like Barbara Ray said, what next when the bell rings? And we got to that point. They knew that wasn't going anywhere. And we're like, they're just hating the hate. They knew they were going anywhere. And I hate to say it, they were right. And I was one of them who's fighting against it. But now when I see they were right, I hate to say that. They were right. What next? What is there? There is nothing no more. I don't feel there's anything with Bro Dallas. There's nothing there. Oh, he's reliving. Okay, how much more? You could relive, yes, but you still have to captivate. Like you said, no promos. What are we talking about? He's gonna do his promos in a vignette. You know what? Sometimes you need to talk to the live mic and looking people in the eyes on the live mic and captivate. He's failing to do that, Chris, and that's a little bit of a worrisome when it comes to the Wyatt Six. I'm going forward. I don't know how much shelf life they have left in wrestling.
No, I agree. We'll see.
I hope
if they do the same thing on Friday, this isn't going to be a good discussion next week. So we'll see.
No, they're going to turn off the lights and come out again. I mean, come on, come on. What more? I mean, at least when Bray was alive, you had Firefly Funhouse. They did different things. They tried something different. They're copying, repeating the same thing. I mean, they're beating everyone up. Everyone's supposed to be terrified of them. Why? Because the lights go off? I mean, that's all I got with that. I don't know where that goes. We go to the main spot or the main segment. Cody Rhodes. We're gonna hear from Cody Rhodes, and he comes out in his suit and he walks in. He says he shows. By the way, a lot of another commercial break. I mean, how many more commercial breaks there? He's talking about Cody Rhodes talking about what do you want to talk about with a record-breaking crowd in Knoxville? So he's hitting the hits. He says, I did not come empty-handed. I came with another guy. another champion, and he brought in Mr. Yeetman. And this time it was like 10:45. I go, serves right. About 10 minutes of yeeting. John Cena comes out, or 5 minutes of yeeting. John Cena has 10 minutes. Out of those 10, 5 will be walking into the ring. And then a 5-minute promo, and and then you go off the air. Okay, I was watching the watch along there. After all the yeeting, John Cena comes out. I'm like, before they, and I see Jay going for another round of yeeting. I'm like, oh no, please no. It's great and I love it, but yeah, not every time. You don't need to go 3-4 rounds of yeeting. I love Jay again. I'm happy he's the champion, but again, you talk about going to the well too many times, but he comes out, John Cena. John Cena sucks. I love how he cooked them on the microphone, both. But then Logan Paul comes out. A lot of people started rolling their eyes. His tag team partner. I love the fact when Cody Rhodes says to Logan Paul, go to the back and polish off his peacemaker. That was a funny one by Cody Rhodes. I said, finally, you got a good rebuttal there. But all in all, did it help me? Did it really talk me into want to see Money in the Bank because of them two? No. I want to watch Money in the Bank because I want to see who wins the Money in the Bank briefcases. I couldn't, the tag team match, it doesn't really, I don't know. It doesn't translate to me. I must watch, Chris.
All right. They really made us wait 3 hours for Cody Rhodes to come out and basically say nothing. I was surprised when I saw Jey Uso come out. I was like, oh my God, because of the time that they had, I was like, whoa, they are really going to have this man come out here and yeet just for John Cena to come out and say some words then for the go off the air. Look, Logan Paul coming out was okay because, he said, I brought my own guy. He's here too. We didn't expect that. Cool. Now it's kind of even. I thought Cena's promo was okay. I thought Logan Paul being a good heel. I thought a lot of the things that Cena were saying was good. He does WWE better than professional wrestlers, which he's not wrong. I know you guys, whether you hate Logan Paul or not, John Cena was completely right there. Logan Paul, getting the nuclear heat. I don't mind that. But what Jey Uso just sits there, and do you see this man cannot do a serious promo without trying to crack? He did it in the Bloodline. No, I'm saying that because how the hell can I take Jey Uso serious at this point? He's cool for the yeets. I like his quote unquote aura. I think he's a cool dude. I love his catchphrases. I don't think he's good at all in the ring, but that doesn't matter. I'm getting sick of the same thing every week. Just like I am with the Wyatt Six, I'm getting sick of him going out there yeeting, music stops. One more time, yeet, and I hate that, and then they go to commercial break. How many times are you going to do that? And then what does he do here? He just sits there like he looks like he's trying his absolute hardest not to laugh. And I can't take him serious. I sometimes I can't. This wasn't much. We were advertised for John Cena and Cody Rhodes face to face, and then we ended up getting Logan Paul doing most of the talking, and Jey Uso most of the eating. That's why I didn't like this segment that much. It was good. Like you said, Cody had a good line. I loved what Cena was saying, and I liked Logan Paul. But we got more yeeting and more Logan Paul than what was advertised, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. Here's the thing. I'm okay with it because I don't want to see Cody and Cena immediately. I don't want that match yet. I want it for later, months later down the road in the fall season. It's towards the end.
I agree. I can see what you're saying because if you want Cena still has till December. He's still advertised for shows. You want to keep it going. So I understand that. And maybe Cody Rhodes shouldn't have even been advertised at all. Because my thing is this, Kev, why are they working together so soon? Where does CM Punk fit into this? Where does the Gunther? Where does Joe Hendry? Where does at least 3 other superstars wrestlers you have to get to before you get back to Cody Rhodes, in my opinion. And they're already rushing them to get into something together.
It worries me a little bit there. You're right. I'm with you. That worries me a little bit there. We'll see what happens, Chris. We'll see what happens. That's the way I gotta say it. All I gotta say is we'll see what happens when it comes to that. I don't know if they're going to give us Cody Rhodes and John Cena at SummerSlam, because I always said it again, WrestleMania type of build is going to be for this SummerSlam this year. I don't want to see that right now.
I don't either. I think that should be an end of the year. Make a pay-per-view in December. You don't have one. Your last pay-per-view of the year is War Games. Just make a pay-per-view in December dedicated to John Cena's last ever match. And we know it's predictable as hell, but who cares?
I tend to agree with that. We'll see if they go with that. I don't know. We'll find out.
Everyone wants to. I want to see Punk and Cena, and they still need. They're not going to do that like they did with Orton. I hope not, where they just fed it for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then the match was the week after, right after WrestleMania. That was a little bit of a letdown, in my opinion. Tiny bit. The match was great, but the build. I want them to do a better build than they did with Orton, with Punk. But how are you going to do that if you're already going with Cody?
Because here's the one thing I'm a little bit afraid, because you mentioned CM Punk. He's in the qualifying match this upcoming Monday Night Raw. He's with Grande Americano and
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, correct. One of those guys are going to be there. You got two baby faces and a heel. And I know I wanted to give credit. Let me give credit where credit's due to someone in my X chat, because he made a really great point. Because I mentioned Karrion Kross. Why is he not getting an opportunity? If you missed it, we went on a rant earlier about Karrion Kross. Anthony J, follows me on X. He says his match will be Monday, and I said no. Karrion Kross won't be on Monday because he's not even in the qualifier. He says that Paul Heyman's guys, Braun and Bronson Reed, is going to take out CM Punk before the match, and Karrion Kross is going to get inserted there. Don't hold your breath. I don't think that's going to happen, friend. From your lips to God's ears, I don't think so. I don't see him
I tend to agree. I unfortunately don't think that's going to happen because you're having Punk on a match on Raw advertised. I think you're going to get that. I don't think they're going to take him out of the match, especially if anything. I see Cross taking out AJ Styles because on the bump, remember he was calling him Allen, like you screwed me, you screwed us over. Maybe he has some resentment towards AJ Styles. That'd be the only thing I could see Cross getting involved. I don't think it's with Punk.
I agree.
If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually wins and gets with Seth in Money in the Bank.
Right, because I don't see him taking Punk out to put in Cross. You don't do that. No,
I don't see AJ winning, and I don't see El Grande Americano winning. So,
correct.
How do you win it like that? Taking out, you have Cross take out AJ.
Hey Tyra, how are you? Can't wait for Punk versus Cena.
Me too, Tyra. Whenever they make that,
we are definitely waiting for that, Tyra. Good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well, Tyra. I haven't talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully we'll see how that goes for CM Punk. I see Brunson and Braun Breaker coming out in the middle during the triple threat and beating up Punk. I could see that.
Maybe.
I could see that happening, and trying to obstacle course there. Maybe a Grande goes and wins the briefcase, which I don't think that's gonna happen. But I don't see it that way. So that's what we got on tap here. This is the week of professional wrestling, spoken by us here on the Heel of the Ring. Don't forget we have some great matches in the independent scene. Of course, Villain May Reign tonight, or happening currently right now. Our guys Matt and Jeff. Matt, awesome, and Jeff Diaz in the ring as well. We had last night the professor Amanda Fuentes in All Girl Power in New Jersey, so that was a good show. I heard some great show there. JC Storm was in there as well, so a good job there for the ladies in the independent scene last night, and today there's some more. Also in Melville, New York, we have a good card, The Chosen One The bell rings at 6:30, so there's still time to get. If you're in the Melville, New York area, Long Island, you get to see our girl Nat Castle in the ring. You'll get a lot of. This is a heavy card too. Opposite, you got some WWE ID talent, AEW talent, NXT. Not NXT, TNA talent, because I pretty much merged them together. You got a slap nuts. Jeff Jarrett will be there. Rich Swann, Heath Slater, Maven, yes, from the podcast. Alicia Edwards, the System, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Mark Sterling. So that's a nice card there if you're in that area to check it out. Check out the independent scene and all the different people out there that are having a great show. And again, I mention it again. Good luck to our guys, the Uptown Boys. They're going to be in a fatal 4-way tag team match. So that's going to be a good one. Good luck, Uptown Boys. You got Jem. We'll hopefully get her on the show to interview soon. In the singles match in the Bronx. That's in Pugsley. If you're in the Bronx, your tickets you buy at the door. You buy the tickets at the door because they sold out as much they could sell online, and they're building. And first time super fight, the main event. You got Steve Pena taking on the one and only Mike Santana. Let's go, Mike Santana back in the Bronx fighting where he's home. And he will be taking on Steve Pena. That's a good match. If you don't know about Steve Pena in the independent scene, you need to check out Steve Pena. Very underrated wrestler, veteran from the Bronx, from New York, and they're going to put on a great show and many more. So they got many more good matches. Love it. This is a great one. There's going to be a handicap match as well involved. The BC Battleweight Championship is going to be defended and all this good stuff. So good luck to all those and tear the house down on the independent scene in the Bronx, in New York City, and all across in Florida as well. I know Coastal Championship Wrestling has a card as well. So all different over there. I think Legacy has a card.
It looks like the Uptown Boys just finished their match, but I don't know if they won or not.
Oh, look at that. Good job there. And also, yes, I wanted to say, for Three Legacies has a show going on currently right now as well. If you're in the Central Pennsylvania, check them out as well on all the different. We always spotlight the independent wrestling. We interview independent wrestlers on this channel. Of course, more interviews coming up. We got some good ones. We can't wait for full confirmation. The graphics will go up and let you know what time and date we will be interviewing these wrestlers. Don't forget, Mike Santana Puerto Rican weekend continues to get spicier, get better. They've got some uber talented now. They got Diana Perazzo part of that card. You got the who's who. You got Electra Lopez. If you're in the Queens area, check it out. House of Glory. Last year they put on a great show. This year they're going to put on even a better one. So of course we wanted to spike that there. And don't forget to join us on our watch along. So watch along on the Heel the Ring podcast on the playback. Right now, as we transition away from the YouTube to show the watch-alongs, because we get to show the wrestling on the playback. YouTube does not allow us to show the video, not to show the wrestling event. So what we do is we take our show where we used to do the watch-alongs on YouTube. We transferred it over to the playback. It's totally free app, Playback TV app. You type in Heel the Ring Wrestling or Wrestling Heel the Ring podcast. We come up. We do everything professional wrestling there. You can watch it, see it, or follow us on X. And if you see the thumbnail in the video, we have our handles where you can find it at PG Chris. You see that right there. Me at BXJedi76. You can follow us, comment, leave a share. Thanks for all the comments that we have when our video gets uploaded after the live streams are over. You guys are awesome. We appreciate everyone that supports and watch us. Each and every one of us, we appreciate it. Thank you for all the retweets, the likes, the shares on X. Without you guys, we're just talking. We're growing a community, and we ask you to be part of it. Join us for the ride. Join us, continue to grow together, and let's continue to just knock out the wrestling world, from the independent scene to the main roster to the main stage on all across major platform. We want to be there. We want to make sure the Heel the Ring by the Sports Jedi Network is heard. So we are thank you guys. 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 10,000 following us on X, over 10,000 on Instagram. On Rumba, we continue to
we
climb.
got 1.4 thousand in the chat right now watching us. We really appreciate you guys, man. This growth does not happen without you guys, like Kev said. So we're gonna continue to keep doing our thing, and you guys are gonna continue to keep supporting us, and we greatly appreciate it. And we got a lot of things coming up. So, like Kev said, well said.
A lot of great things. So we want to say thank you guys. Don't forget again, Thank you for supporting us. Don't forget to support the independent wrestlers, men and women, as well as the main roster. Main roster, we know they got the machine pushing behind them, but also the independent scene. If you have a few dollars, go watch them. It's cheaper than TKO. Go watch TKO. Don't get me wrong. Don't go watch WWE. No problem. But if you want to save a little money and want to see professional wrestling, your local independent scene is where it's at. Wherever you're at, there's got to be someone's doing a local independent wrestling show. Go hang out. Go watch some wrestling. Go have fun. Go check it out, because you don't know which is the future stars of tomorrow, or some of the people living out their dream, and you're supporting them. So we appreciate that. We thank you guys. Remember, I always tell you guys, don't let life pin you. Always kick out and get yourself over with your hard work, dedication. We'll see you next time here on the Heel of the Ring podcast. May the sports be with you. We'll see you soon. Buenas noches. Buenas tardes. Talk to you.